cheese.
Hello, hello, everyone. I,
Hi.
for those not typically coming by, I am Eldritch Intelligence VTuber and variety streamer over on YouTube. Nice to meet all of you. And with me today, I have a new potential friend and compatriot.
Hi, that's me. My name is
That's
Siren.
you.
Hello, hello. And hello to my chat, hello to Poe's chat. I hope you guys are all doing
Yeah.
well. I hope you guys are having a good Saturday.
Yeah. How's your Saturday?
It's going pretty good, pretty good. Got some offline work done and got to
Nice.
chat with some friends and call earlier today while getting all set up for tonight. How
Oh.
about you? How was your Saturday?
Well, we actually had um, a little meet and greet this morning with a potential adopted dog because we have been looking for a new dog to adopt after our previous one, our being myself and my wife, our
Mm-hmm.
dog. At the early part of this year, he was old and passed away, and so
I'm
we've been
sorry
looking
to
for a
hear
dog.
that.
And yeah, and it was hard, and now we're ready for a new dog. It's been like 7 8 months, and we're like, yes, it's time. So we've been perusing and meeting a lot of the local foster dogs, finding and trying to find one. So
Yeah.
that was my Saturday going.
Yeah. That's nice. I hope you guys are able to find something. New
We
new
think
family
we have
addition
the
to the.
one
Yeah?
that we're gonna go with. We met her actually yesterday. We're gonna try to temp foster her for a little bit just because we don't know if she will try to jump our fence. She doesn't seem like one to do so, but
Mhm.
we don't want to end up getting a dog that tries to jump the fence and then be like unable to try to um, put them back into the shelter because that would be
Mhm.
a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
So, but we're getting there. It's very exciting. We're
Yeah.
both we're both going a little bit stir crazy with like, well, honestly, it's been me mostly. I've just been like, I don't have a dog here that I can bop. It's not a dog
Mm.
to just like bop their little dog chest, have them
Mhm.
look at you with love. I'm like,
Yeah.
I need my dog back. So
Yeah.
that's where we're at.
I definitely I get you with that. I've got 3 cats and I like any time in my life that I haven't had any pets has been so weird cuz like I grew up having
Yeah.
either like a cat or a dog at the very least in my household, so I definitely get that.
Yeah, and so we've never had a cat, but we it's that's been one of the challenges, sort of like trying to find the right dog to adopt, is because like we want one that is cat friendly because we want that open on the table because like we
Mhm.
haven't had a cat and we're like, well, I had a cat in the family growing up who hated me, so that we won't worry about that. I was too young when I met that cat. That cat hated me. I hated that cat. It was fine.
Mm.
It's fine. We'll put that one aside. We we wanna have that on the table to have both cat and a dog. So, like, we're
Mhm, mhm.
and that's been a challenge because a lot of dogs are not cat friendly, so you gotta be careful.
Yeah. That's
But
that's so funny. One of our cats, when we got her, we had a dog in our house,
mhm.
and she was baby. So we joke, but like it's all in seriousness that she was partially raised by a dog, and she acts like it.
Well, that's the thing is, like, we're really curious to have a cat. We're like, "Ooh, I do like cats," but it's like, I like the cats that are the most like dogs. So it's like, I want a
Mhm.
dog-like cat because like, they're
Yeah.
so friendly and they can be so fun. I don't know if I want just like that aloof roommate cat that like doesn't really want to spend time with you and is just like here and you're like, I feed you. Can you just show me a little love, please? And
Mhm.
I don't know about that, but we'll see. Yeah. So generally, the for those joining us, this might be a good opportunity to join us because this is kind of a type of I I hate calling it an interview. It's not an interview, but I like doing these types of streams where it's like a meet and greet. Because one of
Yeah.
the pieces of advice as a content creator you always get from people is if you're going to like try to stream with someone or do collabs or whatever, they very often suggest that you play a game offline or talk offline for a little while. And I kind of just cut that off and I just do that conversation on stream because like I like to talk to people and like find out well the sorts of why they got into streaming, what they like to do, what it is it that they hope to get out of streaming, all those sorts of questions I feel like are really good content because like those are the sorts of things that oftentimes don't get talked about like in your day-to-day streaming because you're playing a game or whatever. You might
Mhm.
have people join you new or they've been here a while and they're like, oh, I never really thought about
Mhm.
those things for whoever streamer you might like to watch. So I really like having these conversations. So
Yeah.
thank you very much, Siren, for joining me for
Yeah, thank you for
this.
having me.
Yeah, and so we'll just start right at the beginning. Like, what got you into streaming? How long have you been streaming? Like, w how'd you stumble into this?
Well, so I technically this is my second channel that I've done streaming
Mm,
on.
mhm.
My first channel that I did streaming on, I did occasional gameplay, but it was mostly I streamed a lot of like cosplay work
Oh, cool,
because
cool.
I have a very long history of doing cosplays. I think I went to my first convention in like January of 2012 and just kind of immediately fell in
Cool,
love with
wow, okay.
everything.
Awesome.
Like, changed my degree from being in pre-veterinary sciences into theater so that I could properly learn
Huh,
how like sewing and performance and everything is. So I did that like off and on, very, very occasionally. And then COVID hit. And,
yeah, yeah.
just not a lot that you know what to do with yourself. And I had picked back up streaming a little bit. I had some like IRL friends that we did some games
Mhm.
with. I've got one of them with me in my chat right now. One of my best friends and mods, Kip. With them, one of their partners and one of our other friends, we used to do like Stardew Valley streams, like pretty much like weekly or bi-weekly until we started falling off with those. But then my girlfriend introduced me to VTubing, and I had kind of
Yep,
already known what it was without knowing what it was because the
mhm.
whole Gura meme went around the
Yep,
internet in
yep,
like August of 2020 when she debuted. And
yep.
uh, I think it was later that year when my girlfriend showed me the debut of a new VTuber group that has since more recently disbanded.
Uh-huh.
But getting to kind of
As so many of
see,
them do.
yeah. But like getting to kind of see the ways that people could express themselves and the ways that like, you
Mhm.
don't have to just be this cutesy anime girl like character type thing. You can do anything. So like my biggest
Yeah,
takeaway from that group was Zentrea. And through her, I started being introduced to so many other like VTubers. And I started learning like the real extent to how people can get creative with that. And like Lena
yeah.
Lazar was a really big one for me of seeing her
Oh,
horror
yeah.
model. And
Awesome
I just
model.
kind of was like, that is the vibe that I want. I want to be able to like present myself however I want, be it monstrous, be it a fucking fish, be it like a blob
Uh-huh.
fish. Like I want that. And I told myself that if I could draw and like fully flesh out this character, which the character started off actually as a photo shoot concept. Um,
Okay, yeah, sure.
and I was like, you know what? I'm already drawing this for this photo shoot contest or concept. I'm already like putting together all of these resources. Fuck it. I'm going to just do a design sheet. And so I did the design sheet and I was like, wow, I actually really like this. And I found an artist that'll like be able to make it come to life for like not a whole bunch of money. And so I did it and I debuted in like June of 2021. And I've been
Awesome.
going ever since.
Okay, so that's uh, 2 questions. 1, do you still do cosplay? Is that something you still get the opportunity to do, or have you kind of shifted your focus?
I still do cosplay. I don't do it as much and I don't do it to the degree that I used to.
Uh-huh.
Mainly, like, COVID messed with a lot of that with just
Yeah,
conventions in
yeah,
general, but also, like,
absolutely.
finances have been like very unstable due to that like over
Mhm.
the years, so it's been a lot more of like whenever I can afford costumes I will like try to make with what I have, or I'll just like reuse old costumes at this point, or I'll find like ways to
Right.
do like closet cosplays or like use merch of people to like make outfits for them type stuff. um so I don't do it as much as I used to. Like I used to take massive cosplays to like Dragon Con or like
Yeah.
I flew a prop to New York one year to go to a League of Legends event in cosplay. So like I used to do
Yeah,
that. I don't do that anymore. I don't have the energy,
sure.
time and funds for that anymore.
I I understand. What was your, like, favorite cosplay you ever did?
Oh, favorite cosplay I ever did. That's it's so hard because I have so many that are like really great for different things, but I think I
Right.
really did enjoy. I think the first one that kind of made me realize how much I liked dressing up and pretending to be someone
Mhm.
else was
Yeah.
a arcade Sona from League of Legends.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said a character that I knew. I was like, "Man, I'm so bad at keeping track." Like, I read a lot of manga. I don't watch as much
Mhm.
anime or anything as I used
Mhm.
to, and I'm like, people it really came to me I was at, I went to TwitchCon this year to help out, an artist friend,
Oh hell yeah.
um, in the artist alley, and I'm like, there's one period of time where, like, I had to man the booth entirely because they were like, "Oh, nobody'll come by. It's just in the morning," and it was like,
Mhm.
just effed off to go do something else to grab something or whatever, and then somebody immediately comes in and is like, "I would like this character," and I'm like, "Well, shit." Like, I don't know who that is. I don't know who any of these people are. What is this even from? Like, what are you talking about? And I was like, "Oh god." Anyway, I digress. Going back to stream starting, I relate a lot to your timeline, especially
Mm.
because I hadn't done any streaming or anything prior to. Well, I had dabbled with streaming specifically in the way of putting something up specifically so that my sister could actually like remotely watch what I was doing because we grew up where I would be playing games and she would be watching, we'd be hanging out. Like that was a thing
Mhm.
that we would do. And so then I actually, when it was Mixer was the streaming platform I started using to just have like a stream up so that I could
Yeah.
send it to her and like watch. But that not real streaming, but same, it was freaking COVID and it was all bullshit.
Mhm.
And I was like stuck at home, working from home fresh. And then similarly, like is the that first Hololive EN set that came out that I was watching, and
Mhm.
that led me immediately into like dabbling with the indie VTubers that had already been existing on Twitch. That was like, oh,
Mhm.
there's people already doing this, and sort of through that, I was watching one who had just used a V-Roid Studio like a model, and
Yeah.
so that was like, oh yeah, you can just make your own. I was like, really? So from there, similarly, it was like February 2021 is when I started first streaming on Twitch, and then a couple of years later, I shifted over to YouTube and blah blah blah. So I made my initial model and I've just continued to modify it up to now. Although this has been stable for actually like over a year. I got it to a place that I was quite happy with, as well as making any significant changes is becoming increasingly more difficult and for smaller reward. So it's like, honestly, I don't know if I have the energy to keep making a bunch of model changes. And so
Mhm.
here we are. So similar timeline. COVID definitely was a big impetus for me getting streaming as well. Um, so you mentioned so you're sort of like your Siren character. Well, actually, let me jump back. One of my chatters asked if you made your props for cosplaying.
Yes. Yeah. So I tried to make everything myself if possible, or work with people that I know personally to make things. But back in the day there weren't other options for like
Sure.
props and stuff. So everything was handmade. I don't think I even really like bought my first anything cosplay related until COVID, when it was easier and cheaper to just be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna just buy this Genshin Impact cosplay rather than try and deal with getting all of the materials during all of the like supply chain issues that we were having.
Hmm.
So I think I spent the first like 8 years or so literally only buying pieces and cobbling shit together as best as I could.
And so was that like what got you started on like making, or I don't know if you necessarily did sewing, but like is that what got you started on that, or had you been doing that for other purposes before that you kind of pulled the skills into making the costumes? But it was just, or
uh,
was it like
a
costumes that
little
started it all and got you
It was a little
going?
bit of both. So I had some experience of like hand sewing, because growing up I repaired all of my stuffed animals by myself, and I
That's good
occasionally
practice.
would try and like make my own Halloween costume, which was usually just like, here's this black dress, I'm going to like cut it here and like just kind of sew the edges a little bit so that it doesn't like rip even further type stuff.
Hmm.
Um so it definitely wasn't until I went to my first con, which was a con being held at my college, that I was like, oh shit, I want to go as this character. And my first ever cosplay was of Princess Luna from My Little Pony, and it
Ah.
was the most basic outfit possible. I spent most of the focus making the little wings, but like I
Hmm.
had to learn how to sew because I wanted to wear like a specific type of skirt. So I went over to my friend's house who had experience like significantly with like sewing and going to conventions and stuff. And she was like, yeah, as long as you just bring over a pattern, I can like show you how to use it. Like I can show you how a pattern works, and you can use my machine and everything. And I was like, oh, awesome, yeah. And after that, I went on Craigslist and I found this lovely old couple that was in my city, and they were selling a very, very small sewing machine for like $20. And I got it and just started
Nice.
working on my own little projects. And it was like, I think halfway through my sophomore year of college that I was like, I'm not feeling the veterinary sciences anymore. I think I'm gonna change majors, and then shift it over.
Awesome. So with your current, I don't care. So the Siren theming,
Hmm.
right? Um, what drew you to that? What is it that like speaks like how did you get there? You mentioned that it was something you were doing for a photo shoot that you kind of now worked into a whole thing, but like
Hmm.
what drew you to it? What was it that like captured your attention and wanted that's what you wanted to follow?
I think a lot of it ties to the fact. So I'm from Florida. I've lived
Mhm.
here my entire life. I've lived in varying different places, but I've always had like a just connection to the ocean and to the beach and whatnot.
Mhm.
And it just kind of worked out with the timing that this photo shoot concept that I was putting together with a friend, we were gonna do a like pirate siren type, like not safe for work, kind of like teasing photo shoot type thing. And so
Mhm.
that research was happening right about the time that I started actually like watching more VTubers and going like, man, no, this would be really, really cool. And it just kind of worked out. Like, I don't know. There's just there's something about being a fish that calls to me, I think.
You know, that's fair. Um, and what about the name? So Gilded Siren. What's the like? What was where did that come from specifically? The
Yeah.
gilded nature and like where'd that come from?
So the name, weirdly enough, I've been using longer than I've been VTubing.
Interesting.
Because I do 18 plus work. And
Mhm.
I used to be a model for Cosplay Deviants. And that was the name that I used doing work with them. So I was just Gilded Siren, and I've always loved the word gilded as meaning like adorned in gold and like covered in gold,
Mhm.
draped in gold type thing, and comparing that with a concept of a creature that is meant to be very attractive and alluring but is very like dangerous and can also be very like gross and monstrous and everything, like just really appealed to me in that kind of way. And when
Mhm.
I like just kind of felt right having like this character, like putting together the photo shoot ideas, I kind of looked at it and I was like, no, there's something else here. Like just lots of little building stones that have come together over the years that culminated in this.
Nice. Okay. I saw that you'd played Hades 2
Yeah.
recently. I saw on your channel. So Skilla, what do you think of Skilla?
I absolutely love her, and I have been super struggling with the fact that I can't just drop everything and buy enough PVC fabric to make her fucking headdress because I want nothing more than to just hermit myself away for like 3 weeks and make her headpiece.
I also loved Skilla. I the Some of the characters in Hades 2 were phenomenal, and I loved
Oh,
them
they're
very
so
much. And
good.
Skilla was definitely one of them.
Hmm.
I think even like first time I ran into her on stream, I was just like, I immediately love her. She's the
Yep.
best. Like
Yeah.
so.
There's so much that they did with her that I just am like, you have so much uniqueness and personality that like almost no one gives to like her as a character, which like is
Yeah.
understandable because of like her role in stories and whatnot. But I love seeing all of the more modern interpretations of things give these characters more existence and depth and life than they've really had before.
Yeah, for sure. And it anyway, I I was gonna go on a super turbo possible tangent, and I was like, I don't know if that actually connects very well, so I'm just gonna leave it on the floor. I'm not gonna worry about that. Um, and now
I'm always down
I've
for
lost my train of
tangents.
thought. I, um, well, you had mentioned that you did have some questions. Well, why don't we hand it off? Is there anything you wanted to ask that's kind of in the ballpark and in the space?
Yeah.
Continue talking about whatnot.
Yeah, so you've made your model. Did
Yeah.
you make your model like from the very beginning? Did you start off using a base? Like I love the concept of your model, and especially there's a post that you made on Blue Sky like a year ago or something that talked about how with certain members of your community you like
Oh,
interpret them in your model.
yes.
Like
Wow, I all right. I didn't realize you knew about that. Okay. Yes. Yes. So I did make my model initially, and although I say that, it was initially a V-Roid Studio model.
Mhm.
Um, and just using some basic stuff, like basic textures that I'd made. I had up to that point not been very skilled in like traditional art in like I don't draw, I don't do a lot of that stuff. I am
Mhm.
creative, but have not had skilled practice in executing on a lot of those things. Um, but what I have skill in a lot more like using programs and things.
Mhm.
So I kind of followed that along a little bit, and I had a very basic model initially that was straight out of VRoid Studio that I had fished up some booth textures that I worked with.
Mhm.
And that's what I started with. Now I call it like my potato faced model because it was back in VRoid Studio beta where the
Ah,
shape of the models were not very not still not that good. They were fine
yeah.
at the time, but like
Mhm.
they were a little rough. Um, and then I streamed with that for maybe like 6 months or so, and then VRoid Studio updated, and so I made a fully fresh one, which was a little bit different. And then from there, I started learning and pulling it into Unity and manipulating it heavily. So this well, my chat says I should switch over to my old model. I actually can't anymore. I actually can't because this is, I believe, if I've kept track correctly, the 54th iteration of my model that I'm currently using.
Wow.
Um, and it's not all of those changes were massive. It's technically like large version 7, 54th total iteration. And it was about version 5 that was one of the major steps where I entirely remade the base Vroid Studio model again. Um, and then immediately took it straight into Unity and added the iOS, not iOS, the iPhone
Mhm.
keyframes
Mhm.
so that I could start doing that. And like that's been sort of the bones of the base of this. Now, I say the base in the sense that I still use the Vroid Studio face, and then I pretty much stripped everything else off of it. So
Okay.
essentially, all of the skin is stripped off, and I am left with bones on which I have hung a variety of objects, kind of like you hang ornaments on a Christmas tree. So, like, that's fundamentally what my model is at this point. Is it's sort of technically Vroid Studio, but it's not really fair
Okay.
to call it that anymore.
Yeah.
But as to your point about what I do with my community members, so this is one of the things that I'm actually most proud of from a community perspective.
Mhm.
So one of the things that I lost leaving Twitch and going to YouTube, of course, was channel points and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
And so I started using Mix It Up as a way to craft my own. So I do have channel points as well as daily redeems on my channel on YouTube via the Mix It Up bot. And
Okay.
I introduced the daily redeem to earn a currency at which any regular that reaches 64 of these daily currencies, I then take reference images that they want to provide. If it were another VTuber that had a model, I could base it off the model, and I then try to interpret these whatnots, the references they've provided into a way that it fits into my model, and then I actually include them on the model, and they get a special redeem that if they have one of these on stream, they can do exclamation point bit, and like they will show their own stream bit, like their community bit, and they're the only one that can bring up theirs. Well, aside from me. And so, hold
Huh.
on, let me pull up a couple,
Yeah, if you
if
wanna
I can
show some
remember where they
examples of
are.
that.
Yeah. So, one. So this is the community member Whitney that sits on my shoulder. I
Oh.
have Kappa that floats over this shoulder over here. Scobalt down here on my backside under here. And then I have one priestess. I don't know how much it'll show up. It's actually on the left side, so it comes up as an overlay on my stream.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
and then lastly, Seaweaver actually sails around my model on a ship that will they hey, perfect timing. There he comes in the frame.
That's so
Um,
cool.
and so these once somebody has been around for 64 streams, then I get references from them, and then we spend a stream, and we make their bit.
Hell
And so
yeah.
that's something I've been doing for a couple years now. And I don't know, I feel like it's something actually special for the community that like no other streamer I've ever seen does. That
Yeah.
these will persist as part of my model. Like even if they should stop being irregular, it'll still be there in the files.
Yeah, it's a piece of history. It's a piece of your
Yeah.
history and your community's history. I love that.
Mm. Well, yeah, and that actually that ties in to a piece of the sort of the model development that I didn't touch on, which is that so a lot of my storytelling history has been as a D&D dungeon master. So I've played a lot of D&D in my
Mhm.
time. I run a lot of games. Well, I have run a lot of games. I haven't in a few years
Mhm.
because COVID, but
Yeah.
I digress. Um, and so something that's really valuable to me is the sort of collaborative storytelling. And like one of the things that I always find most valuable about streams and the communities that build up around streamers and their community is those inside jokes and things that like sort of shift the narratives by small ways of like a streamer might have come out and like had an idea for where they were going to go as like a character or just what they intended to do, and then community kind of like drives that in a different direction. And I
Mhm.
like those developing stories very much. And so it was a lot of those things also that sort of guided the model to be what it is in some ways. Um, because like when I first made it, I eventually added something like an orb to the model that was a
Orb.
redeem that floated above my head at the time. And that was largely because I was experimenting with what I could accomplish in Unity and like adding stuff and um texturing because I started texturing it with actually a video file, which was a terrible idea because it made my model enormous in VRAM, but
Mm.
that's that's its own issue. But anyway, like the community at the time got attached to the orb, and so the orb became something that like I continued to sort of like incorporate more into the model, and it actually like what lore I have that I never really comment about, though I do have actually a backstory along the way, like it incorporated in the lore, and that's why now I have like the spheres on the shoulders and the technically the middle of the chest of the model is canonically the orb, though it's broken up now. And
Ah.
so like that's maintained over the years because the community got attached to it. And so it kept coming back into sort of the design and the lore of like the stream and like everything that goes along with it.
Mhm. That's really cool.
Yeah. So yeah, so I try to, you know, capture and include the community in every way that I can, which has been a bit of a blessing in the sense that it kind of works because my community is very small. I don't
Mhm.
know what I would do if suddenly I had like 10 people that were all trying to get to the the bit threshold at once. I'd be like, this is like a whole 2 weeks that we're gonna sit here trying to make things now. So like I'm sort of fortunate that I have a small community that
Mhm.
like of regulars and not some like crazy set of people. I'd have to totally rethink my plan if that happened.
Yeah. I mean, I think that comes with for like anyone who's on
Mhm.
this type of journey is that you
Yeah.
start off with the expectation that you're gonna have, you know, just this small like tight knit community, and if that ever it like gets out of containment, then you gotta adjust things to go with that because it's not feasible to keep up with the level of like individual like focus and
Mhm.
attention that you get with when you're still a smaller streamer.
Yeah, and that's That actually pulls up an interesting question because that like I have a lot of feelings about like what size of the community like I enjoy being a part of the most.
Mhm.
And so that kind of dovetails into your question or a question for you of like what are your goals for streaming? Like do you strive for a particular like community size or do you want to accomplish something else with it? Like what are your hopes for actually streaming?
So, honestly, like, the best thing that I would be able to get out of streaming would be to get to a point where it covers being able to just live and exist type thing. Like I would never I don't think me as a person could survive getting to a point like any of the really like big streamers. And I don't know
Agreed.
how I would handle like my community. I don't know how I would even really feel about that being like a community type thing cuz like
Mhm.
currently I feel like I have a pretty like tight knit and like we get a bunch of new people like cycling in and out, but the group of people that are always there and hanging out that are here with us hanging out on my side of the chat, like I know them all and they've all been
Right.
here and they've all like we've interacted, we've hung out, we hang out in Discord every now and then. Like I've gotten to meet some of them in person and have met like people through them, and it's been really nice. And I think like let me see, because like I think like the average that I'm currently working with in terms of like viewership, which I don't really care too much about, but like for just how many people I interact with generally is anywhere between like 10 and 15 for like
Mhm.
concurrent people in stream. And like I really like that. It I know who's in my chat. It
Yeah.
means that like chat can have conversations with me. I can actually like read chat, see chat, and like I have to, because I'm a fucking blind bitch, my chat in OBS is like really big, which unfortunately means that if chat moves too quickly, I will miss messages. And like
Yeah.
obviously if it ever got to a point where that became more of a problem, I would address that. But like I
Bad
like where it's
fish.
at right now, and my community just put me in jail. God damn it, you guys.
Yeah, that honestly, like, that's getting to that, like, perfect level in my opinion, because
Mhm.
my threshold has always been, like, I want to reach, like, that low double digits for that consistent sort of, like, nice level of chatting that takes place, just like you talked about, like, that
Mhm.
nice consistent flow of conversation. And I don't want to get to the point where I actually have to get a mod. Like, that's my threshold of, like, this is
Mm.
bigger than I actually wanted, was once I hit the point where I was like, "I need a moderator to actually take care of chat now." I was like, I
Mhm.
don't wanna get there because I just don't wanna deal with having to find a person to, like, be consistently there or a few people so that somebody's not responsible for all this, and then I have to, like,
Mhm.
people manage, and I'm like, "I don't wanna have to do that."
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I currently have I have 3 mods, but they're all people that are incredibly close to me. Like one of them is my
Mhm.
girlfriend. Yeah, one of them is my best friend Kip that I've mentioned earlier, and
Yeah.
one of my other best friends Zal. Um so I have the 3 of them, and honestly like they don't even really need to like do any sort of like moderating stuff. If anything, half the time they help me like set my own boundaries when stuff happens in chat, where I'm just
Yeah.
like, "Hey, you know, that maybe we don't do that. That's okay." And I'll have like we had something happen semi recently where a bot came in and was just like being really pushy about like, "Oh, I want to DM you. I want to DM you. I want to DM you." And I was like,
Of
"Well, you can
course.
just you can post in my Discord and I'll see what you want to post." No, I need to DM you to talk about the art that I want to do for you. And I'm like, "You can
Yeah,
post
it's
in my
like, "No,
Discord."
no, 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 no,
And
no."
Zal was just like, "Nope, banned.
No.
You're gone." And I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I really thank you. Thank you for standing up for me because I was not standing up for myself there."
Yeah. Well, as a perfect follow along to that, have like, what's the weird, like, what's the weirdest yahoo you've gotten in chat, right? We all get the weirdos occasionally that are like, "Bro, why are you here?" But, like,
Uh,
what's the weirdest that you've gotten?
I don't know. I usually just like I get people who come in and they just will either have a really weird name, which I tend to love. Like
Sure.
the weirder the names, the better, and especially if they're like something that's like on the raunchy side. They usually come in, they're like they expect people to have like these like weird adverse reactions to their names, and I'm just like, dude, my husband's it just popped in chat and it's like their name is Wang Tamer. Like we get names of all times
Like,
coming in,
yeah,
and it's like, nah, this is you're fine here. But like usually it's just people who come in and they just put a like a pickup line in chat, and I'm just like, really? Is that how you're gonna that's how you want to say hi, is just with a pickup line in here? Like, and like if they're good, sometimes I'll be like, no, that was good, that was good. But like the people who post that never stick around in chat, so it's just kind of
sure.
like, what was your point in doing this? Did that give you enjoyment to just do this? Like, what, why did you pick me? Like, I'm curious. Like, was it because of what I looked
Yeah,
like? Is
right.
it because of the category that I'm streaming? Like, did you spend any time here before you sent that? Like,
Oh, almost unequivocally, no. They never end up doing it.
yeah. What about for you? What a weird chat
So the
experiences have you had?
so there's one that extreme I for some reason, when stuff like this happens, it, like, sears really weird details into my brain. I remember exactly, like, where I was in the game that I was playing when this happened, which
Hmm.
was, um oh my god, why can I not remember the name? I can picture the scene in the game. It's Star Ocean. Star Ocean 2.
Okay.
Um, they recently remade it in the from the PS1 to now modern, but kept all the aesthetic. It's a really good game. I would encourage anybody to play it. Anyway, I was playing that and I had some yahoo, totally unrelated to the game, just show up, and he was like, um, just right out of the blue, he's like, "So what do you do?" I was like, "What do you mean? What do I do?" like, I was like, "Hi, welcome." He was like, "Oh, so," I was like, I play games. We hang out." Like, he's like, "Oh, so you're just all like all looks and no substance." I was like,
What?
"What is happening?" And so I was like,
What?
"Okay, well, you're gone." So I gave him a 10-minute timeout, and
Hmm.
then I talked trash on him for the next 3 minutes, which was funny. But then I was like, what really put it over was that after the 10 minutes, because I talked about, like, maybe he just doesn't know how to make a first impression. We'll give him a
Hmm.
chance. He actually was still there after 10 minutes and was like, decided I can't remember exactly what he said the last time, but he was like, he said something even more rude. And then he was just like, "Oh yeah, I was waiting just to see if I could get a big rise out of you or whatever." And I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
time to go." Like, you're
Yeah.
out. Like, what are you here for, man?
Yeah.
That sticks out still as the, like, I don't understand why you're here. Like, I and you stayed for 10 minutes of being timed out to, like, double down on it. Well, and the big thing is, like, on YouTube, YouTube does timing out and banning differently than Twitch does.
Okay.
All of it is actually shadows, shadow bans and shadow mutes. So
Okay.
you can just he could have been just typing into the void for 10 minutes and just
Oh.
typing away, because you can just keep sending, but that just goes into the void. It goes, nobody gets to see it. Like, because ban is not ban on YouTube, it's actually hide from the channel. And so it hides everything they do on your channel. And
Okay.
so I was like, I don't know, he could have been talking for 10 minutes straight to nobody at all. And then
Yeah.
finally he said something and it actually showed up because the timeout was over, and he's still being an ass. So I was like, "Oh, time to go. Like, see you later."
People have nothing better to do sometimes, and it just astounds me.
I I yeah, I don't get it. I really don't understand. Like, it's what do you hope to get out of it? How is this entertaining? Like, what are you accomplishing?
Yeah,
I
and especially,
It's
like, when
really
it's done
weird.
to people who are, like, smaller streamers, it's like, what do you like, clearly,
Yeah,
you're not trying to get us in, like, a weird gotcha situation because what are you gonna do? Ruin our careers that are
yeah.
non-existent? And
You're
who
not
are
like
you that you're gonna share this with? Like, what?
you're not like building up notoriety because like you keep showing up on big streamers or whatever. Like
Yeah.
the like what is it? Mike Tyson's asshole that showed up on I don't know if you guys know that saga. That was from several years back in Hollow
No.
Live.
I had not heard about
That
that.
was that was an individual who showed up on almost every one of the Hollow Live JP's streams to give a donation with the English name like Mike Tyson's asshole because they would try to sound out the name largely,
Uh-huh.
and it was like it became a whole thing. It's just like every one of the JP Hololivers ended up he was especially active on Corone's stream, but
Oh,
the thing is
no.
like it it did become pretty goddamn funny, and I think at some point, like, it crossed the bound like, it crossed into, like, kind of innocent fun from being like, "Wow, this seems rude," and then, like, I don't know, everybody was aware of it, and so, like, that super
Mhm.
chat would go up, and, like, everybody in chat would be like, "Oh, no," and then, like,
Yeah.
they'd come back to it eventually, and, like, Corone would have forgotten that she'd read the name before, and so then she'd say the name,
Oh,
but immediately be like, "No!" It's
no.
like, "Okay." Like, it was pretty funny. It is rude and shouldn't be done, but it was quite funny, and it was a whole ordeal, which my main point is, like, with large streamers like that, you're kind of building a notoriety that, like, may be rude, but, like, I can understand the point of that.
Mhm.
Coming to streams like ours, it's like, you're not gonna accomplish anything. What are you gonna get out of this?
Yeah. No, and my girlfriend merely in chat is you got it right there, spot on. That consent is really what matters when you do stuff like that. And
It
like
is.
when you have like really big communities like that and when stuff starts to become like memes and jokes and you like kind of play into it
Yeah.
a little bit, like then
Mm,
it's more okay. And especially in the terms of like with like YouTube super chats and stuff, like these are people
yeah.
paying money for it, and there's ways to stop that from happening if you really want to stop it from happening. Because you can like, especially if it's the same person like doing it over and over again,
Mhm.
you can always like you
For
can
sure.
ban them or whatever. But like, yeah, it's all about the consent and whether or not that's like a like playful joke versus actual harmful intent type thing.
Right. Yeah, it's that's a really, like, challenging topic to, like to navigate. The specific piece
Mhm.
that you're talking about having, like, something come up or, like, an in-joke that the community has made and, like, playing into it, but, like, not being
Mhm.
fully comfortable with it, and, like, even if you're comfortable with it initially, like, I've seen so many big streamers who, like, are like, "Haha, this is funny," and, like, "This is all cool," but then the community will keep it going for, like, a year and a half, and it's like,
Yeah.
"Guys, we gotta
Gotta move
we
on.
gotta move on." Like,
Joke's dead.
and it's just like,
Let it die.
it's this like self like perpetuating machine that like somebody new shows up into the community and now they're fresh to the inside joke, so they're excited about
Mhm.
it, and then like they leave and the new people arrive and they're like, oh, this is new, and it's just like people get
Mhm.
just like so stuck with this like certain thing that the community does. It's challenging to be a big streamer, like,
Yeah.
well, in certain ways. In
Yeah.
some ways it's real easy, but it's a lot of ways the interpersonal challenges are tremendous.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I saw on your description page is you mentioned one of your goals was bridging IRL and VTube content, virtual content creation. Help
Mm.
bridge the gap between IRL and virtual content creation. What does that
Mhm.
mean to you?
So that's less of like what my focus is on now than what it used to be.
Hmm.
Because I think when I started VTubing, my really big focus was to like my attempt how do I word this? Like I wanted to keep working in like with not even necessarily like with cosplay deviants, though I was like still
Mhm.
working with them. I'm no longer working with them, haven't for a few years, but my want was to like be able to get a 3D model that could also do like not safe for work content and be able to make
Mhm.
content that like kind of tied together the IRL not safe for work content and the virtual not safe for work content of like getting outfits for my model that would match with the characters that I'd done like photo
Oh,
shoots for,
that's
and
fun.
like getting to go to like events and in like IRL and getting to talk to other like adult content creators who do both like IRL and virtual stuff, and a lot of
Mhm.
that started falling off of like my real focus. I ended up getting a job that I held for a job with a company that I held for like a year or two, and then I moved to another
Uh-huh.
position in that company. But it took all of the energy and life out of me, and I like
Boy, does it
really
ever.
I stopped doing not safe for work stuff like almost entirely throughout this time, and like my streaming was down to like maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months, and like basically since like losing that job, because I lost that job about a year and a half ago now, I've kind of like refocused, trying to get back into refocusing and like figuring out like, what do I want to do? How do I want to do it? Where do I want to take this like streaming and art creative
Mhm.
journey? Like, how do I break back into like doing like cosplay commissions for people? How do I break back into like
Oh,
doing
yeah.
all of this other stuff? And so like the blending of the IRL and the virtual is a lot less of what my focus is on, but it's still something
Gotcha.
in the back of my brain that I will hope that I can find what that end goal like means to me again, because it is still something that like I think is really important and part of me, because like I keep my identity IRL secret, but I don't keep my
Mhm.
face secret. So like I've obviously I've posted my face online. I have posted way more than just my face
Right.
online, and like I have no problem with that. And like that's kind of the aspect that I like trying to figure out where that like meeting of worlds is and where that can go.
Okay, so, relating a little bit to that and a little stepping back that I didn't really ask, but so you
Mm,
have your Siren theme.
mhm.
Do you when you stream and I don't I don't know, maybe this is an unfair question if depending on the answer, but, like, do you stream just largely as yourself? Do you try to maintain any kind of character, like, that you're putting forward to the community, or do you just pretty much, like, you?
No, the Siren is me. I've never really put on any sort of a like performance or like character with this. I'm me. I'm goofy. I'm silly. I can be sultry and sexy, and I just like portraying that in whatever way that it is. But I'm kind of just a goober online, and that's just kind of me. It's not the same as I am
Yeah.
IRL, honestly.
No, I relate to that a lot. Well, okay, so, like, one, same. I just do I can't I'm not skilled enough to put on a character for any extended period of time is really what it comes
Mm,
down to. Like, I can't maintain that. So,
mhm,
similarly, yeah, like, I just stream as myself. But I honestly, I guess I'm not surprised because that's usually the things that I value in, like, other streamers and seeing them is, like, that degree of authenticity, like, 'cause I'm just like,
mm,
"Oh, I think that's just you." And so, like, I'm much more drawn to that sort of thing, which is usually why I end up talking to people like you who are also just like, "Nah, it's just me." Like, I just
mhm.
was like, "Great. I appreciate that."
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with playing a character, it's just
Mhm.
like, I kind of like it's one of those, like, little weird things that, like, tickle the back of your mind where it's just like you're like, I don't quite know if you mean that." Like, and that,
Yeah.
And so I just kind of gravitate to people who feel, like, genuine and authentic in how they present themselves in stream. Like, that's
Mhm,
that's a thing that I
mhm.
like a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
I think a lot of that does come also from just the fact that I have been streaming under this like persona for 4.5 years now, that like I'm more comfortable knowing like just where like my own boundaries and my own lines are, and like what like
mhm.
aspects of myself I like will put forward and what aspects of myself like I won't put forward. And like I think a lot of at least for me, what I see when I see people like starting off with VTubing and who try to like create this character caricature, whatever that
Uh-huh.
they want to do, they almost always end up rebranding after like 6 months or a year, because they're just like, nah, I
Yeah.
wasn't feeling it, I wanted something that felt more like me, and it's like, yeah, there's no one
Yeah.
there's no one that should be telling you that, well, water dragon space creatures don't exist, so clearly you have to be playing a character. It's like, no, I'm just me, I'm just showing you a different
It's just
physical
but yeah, it's like, it's
presentation,
fine, man.
but it's just me. Like there's no like character or acting or anything there. And like it definitely works for some people, and it works in the like corpo environment, because you're kind of being cast as a character in a lot of these
Yes.
situations,
Like,
and that's
they are far closer to actors in a lot of
yeah,
ways than
yeah, and
although
like
I will say, I do think in a lot of ways, the people doing the casting at those places have done
mhm,
a very good job of finding people that fit what they're aiming for, because with the number of a lot more of the, like, Hololive folks and, like, the bigger ones ending up leaving and going to be independent,
mhm,
a lot of them are pretty much exactly the same as they used to be. So it's like either they're just maintaining the brand, or, that was kinda always pretty close to what they were.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. That's definitely a really good point. I've noticed that a lot with more of like the Hololives and the XDGs and whatnot that are coming back as like
Yeah,
new personas, and they do feel like very very similar. And like, yeah, you have to wonder whether or not it's because that they're now them and they've always kind of been them the whole time, or if the
right.
fact that they were in these roles for so long that that's just what they're comfortable playing, and that's just how they've kind of embodied that
Yeah.
like since then. Because like I definitely have seen oh god, I can't remember her name anymore, but like I'm pretty sure she was a Niji, and then she was in Bishojo, and then she was in something else, and there was a lot of like weirdly conflicting personality stuff that was happening between
Mhm.
all of the characters that she had, that it was like I literally have no idea who you are as a person or what values you hold, because like it is all so wildly different from every persona you've played.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Was it Rushia? It might have been Rushia.
well,
Maybe. I'm
Rushia
not sure.
definitely had a, mm, uh, eventful exit from Hololive, we'll say,
Yeah.
and then she did end up going into, um, VShojo JP. I don't even know what happened to VShojo JP. Man, what a bummer for
I
them.
mean, the entirety of V Shoujo imploded because the owners are pieces of shit.
Well,
So there's that.
yes, yes, but so okay, now we're on VTuber gossip a little bit. I'm sorry. We're 'cause this is all sort of interesting stuff to me, and I
Mhm.
rarely have anybody to talk to about it. So,
Yeah.
what's really interesting, I don't know if you kind of followed a lot of that, like, when it was happening, but what was bizarre was the conversation that Ksan had with the JP vice
Yes.
president in name, who essentially was
Yes.
saying that, like, the JP branch was profitable, but they didn't have the financial independence to, like, actually use that profitability to, like, maintain themselves or pay their own employees. So, like, it all
Mm.
got funneled back to main Vishojo English and just then got funneled into the black hole of shit. So it's like,
Mhm.
I really don't know what happened to the Vishojo JP. Like, honestly, I hope for them that maybe they were able to spin up a new company with the people that were there because obviously it was had been working for them. So like
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
That
mean,
whole thing was a shit
as
show.
far as I know, like, cause I listened to a bunch of like chunks from when Kason had the voice call with the JP
Uh-huh.
vice president or president or whoever it was, and it was just very much he was like, it was out of my hands. I wasn't really getting paid, and it's like, okay, yeah, the talents are definitely better off somewhere else, and like a lot of them are still
Yeah.
streaming and they're still streaming under their IPs
Yeah,
because they own their IPs and they've been doing really well because like I still follow them and check in on them every now and then and I'm
for
really
sure.
like really happy for them because like they were all so happy when they joined and when they debuted like seeing like all the English like
Yeah.
members like inviting them and embracing them in everything was just so nice to see.
Yeah. It is really disheartening towards like the corpo agency scene in
Mhm.
general. But like I mean, I guess it shouldn't be too surprising because honestly, that sort of agency or production company is well, in a lot of ways inherently problematic towards the structure of the way the finances work and
Mhm.
the so easy to abuse talent and underpay them while funneling the money into stupid places. It's really
Yeah.
like it sucks. It's
Yeah.
easy to be there. Um, anyway, I digress. Stepping away from arbitrary tangent of freaking VTubing drama and whatnot. It's not really drama. Companies going under isn't necessarily fair to call drama, but is like current events, if you will. Not even
Yeah.
current events. Old
Yeah.
news. Um, one of the things that you also mention in your description profile and stuff is voice acting. What what
Yes.
what does that cover? What kind of stuff do you voice act? Have you been doing it long? Tell me
Yeah,
about it.
so the voice acting stuff is relatively new, like new-ish. I
Hmm.
think I started getting into it a few years ago and I landed my first role in a an audio drama that is almost released. The director and producer of it is someone who I know and I've known since I like joined like VTubing in general. They were one of the first people that we've just kind of like connected and have been in and around each other's orbits since then. Um I had another role over the summer where I did some voiceover work for a Minecraft server event. So that was
Oh,
really cool. They were doing like a really like a big whole like we have a theme park in our Minecraft server, and so we're doing like a really big theme park announcement video for it. And so they hired a couple of us to like be the announcers and get to like talk about things. So that was really cool. Um,
awesome.
and yeah, so I haven't done that much yet, but like I throw out auditions where I can, and I absolutely love the fact that more and more voice actors are turning to streaming as like other things that they
Right.
can do because it gives me more opportunity to just kind of like be in these like circles and get to hear from these people who just sit and yap on stream, like listening to Sayu and Amelie like talk about like what their voice acting journeys were and getting to just like not necessarily like compare myself in a way, but just kind of like side by side with like my journey and my experience with it and like their journey and their experience with it and being able to like
Yeah.
see the differences, see where like luck plays into part, see where like the
Right.
hard work and the grind plays into part, and it's really cool. So like I'm really hoping that I get to do more with it. I there's another project that my friend who directed the other one that I was talking about wants to do
Hmm.
with me in the future once he's like fully done with this one. Cuz this one It's been in production for a while. We did my recording bits for it almost like 2, 3 years now at this point. But
Oh, wow.
he has a lot of health issues that he's been struggling with, so it's been making like the post production and getting the
Sure.
rest of the recording done really difficult because it's an anthology audio drama. So each chapter of it is an entirely different story, entirely different characters. Means that he had to work with like 20 to 30 different like voice actors to fill all of the roles that he wanted and trying to get all the scheduling and stuff for that done. So like he's been working his fucking
That's a
ass
lot of
off in
planning.
between all of the medical issues that he struggles with every day. Um but like I love working with him and I can't wait for any future projects that we actually get to make happen.
Awesome. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've v sort of in a very hobbyist fashion
Mhm.
lately been also dabbling into voice acting.
Mhm.
I've I've done a couple, games for a friend of mine who's making games, small
Ooh.
indie one-man studio, and so I've done voices for that. But honestly, the thing that I like most, um, is less of the acting and more of the narration or audiobook style stuff.
Okay.
That's why I've ended up on my YouTube channel. Most of my videos at this point are audiobook readings for a lot of the Lovecraft or Edgar Allan Poe short
Mm,
stories,
mhm,
which
mhm.
I was a lot more consistent on it for a while, and then YouTube really punched me in the gut on how effectively they were like putting those out there, and so I have not gone back again
Ah.
because having a full time job makes it really hard to
Yeah.
keep up on doing things.
Mhm.
So like, ugh, trying to stream 3 days a week and then also be like, oh, I'll also record short story readings or whatever. It's a
Mhm.
challenge. But I've been feeling the last couple of weeks. I'm like, I think it might be time that I need to record another one and try it again, see if YouTube will do any better. Because it's really frustrating. I for the first handful that I put out, we're doing reasonably well in the like 400 to 700 view range, which
Mhm.
I'm happy with that. If I can get
Yeah.
that consistently, but then as time went on, like, I would essentially do mostly the same thing, like, same strategy and everything, and then it got down to, like, 17 views. I was like, "Are you
Mm.
doing anything with these YouTube? What are you
Mhm.
doing? You're killing me."
Yeah.
So that really sucked the fun out of those, but yeah,
Yeah, that's rough.
I really enjoy, like, narration and story reading. I can find more ways to do that, but that's such a specific aspect. I actually did poke around looking at, a website around, putting your voice out there for, like, audiobook readings, like
Mhm.
whole audiobook readings,
What,
for Audible.
what website?
I think it was ACX, which is, like, specifically the exchange for, like, small scale, um, like, people who want to publish their books onto Audible,
Oh,
and it's, like,
okay.
a way for them to connect to people doing readings.
Okay.
Um
Yeah, I mainly use Casting Call Club when looking for stuff to audition for, and I see like a whole bunch of audiobook listings get putting up there too.
yeah.
So I'd recommend you check out Casting Call Club too.
Yeah, yeah, I should do that. Yeah, the challenge is finding time, but yeah, like,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily wanna make it like a whole ordeal that, like, I have, like, lots of responsibilities or a job or whatever doing the
Mhm.
voice acting, but, like, honestly, there was a time where I tried to put it out there on, like, Blue Sky to see if, like, other VTubers were, like, if they were doing a debut and they wanted somebody to read something for, narration or something. I was like,
Mm.
"That's the sort of
Mhm.
thing that
Mhm.
I would like to do, just be, like, kinda get out there is like, oh, that person is like, oh, who did that like narration for like these little things, but
Yeah.
I that's such a specific thing that I'm like, I don't have the social media networking
Mm. Mhm.
motivation to accomplish that or wherewithal. God, I
Yeah.
hate social media. I'm too old for that shit.
Yeah, no,
Can't.
so social media is such a
I
fucking wash
can't.
nowadays anyway, like
I Man, I hate it. I
I'm like
never.
only on Blue Sky now. Like I'm not even on Facebook.
Yes,
I don't even keep up with
same.
like my IRL. like social medias anymore.
I I have a Facebook that still exists specifically so that my wife on her Facebook page has a married to, and it's a link and not just a name. Like, that's literally the reason my Facebook still exists. I never check it.
Yeah.
I also am only on Blue Sky, and, like, I mostly use it for information gathering. I don't even really post anymore because,
Mm.
like, I don't have it in me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rough, man.
So I had a question that I had
Yeah,
lined up that ties into something that you brought up. So
sure.
you mentioned obviously like in your about me on your YouTube page, like you talked about doing the reading, like the Lovecraftian readings and the
Mhm.
Edgar Allan Poe readings. Is that tied to
Yeah.
how you chose your name?
Uh, uh, Surprisingly enough, no.
Okay,
So I have actually always gone by Poe, and essentially when I was starting to stream, I was like, I can't be bothered to learn to respond to a different name,
fair
so
enough.
we're sticking with Poe.
It's
And
hard.
then I essentially backed into an acronym to make it make sense. Um,
Okay.
Initially, now it makes less sense because I rebranded. Because so when I first started, I was not Eldritch. I first started, and my opening spiel was, I'm artificial personality designation P0.2.71828 or Poe. And so 2.71828 is in math the number E. It's Euler's number, and
Mhm.
so it was originally P0.E was my name, and so I
Okay.
backed into that as as an acronym name. So P for personality, version number 0.2, blah blah blah.
Okay.
I work as a my everyday job is as a software quality engineer, so I do a lot of nerdy tech,
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
programming sort of shit, which is why, like, version number of 0.2 point like, I see that sort of stuff all the time. So it's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
that works." But then a couple years later, AI got a whole different brand in the out and about, and it was some real
Mhm.
ass dog shit. And so I was like, we're not gonna be related to that anymore,
Yeah.
because it was starting to, like, I was starting to get the, implication, like, I was getting the sense that some of my views on stuff was coming because I was using, like, AI or artificial intelligence as, like, things in descriptions and stuff, and those
Yeah.
views were, like, not real views, and I was like, "I don't
Yeah.
really wanna even expose myself to this group of people." So,
Yeah. That
we
makes sense.
shifted over and went the Eldritch route of, like, and that's a pretty small departure. Like, I have an like, an art piece of, Lovecraft with Cthulhu. Like, I do love Eldritch stuff. So this is
Mhm.
I have, like, 3 different Cthulhu-based board games. Like, this was not a
Nice.
significant departure for me.
Yeah.
It was just like, we're gonna slide it on this way to get out of AI, and
Mhm.
then, um, sort of like the way that I was interacting with the community and, like, what the community so I used to call the community, uh, my botnet,
Okay.
which I don't call them that anymore. Now they're the Eldritch Network. Do you have a community name also? Community name?
Kinda, sorta. Like they initially, they started off as being echoes because I like the whole
Mm,
lore that I came up for myself was that I'm from another world, whether or not it's in this universe or another universe. There's no way for me to know. A portal opened up,
mhm.
and sucked me through it and popped me out in your oceans, and I've just been hiding out in a cave at the bottom of the ocean for a while, and so when I started streaming and started having all of these people coming down to the bottom of the ocean to actually hang out with me, they just kind of became echoes of voices in the cave that I lived in. So that
Ah.
was where the initial name came from, but I don't really like use it much. And like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Same.
Yeah.
My mine largely came out from we were playing Cult of the Lamb on
Mhm.
stream, and it was like, "What are we gonna call you live?" So we went with the Eldritch Network, and then they were like very fond of that. So like that,
Yeah.
then
No, I
we
really like
moved
it.
away from botnet into the Eldritch Network, and so now when I finally did sort of the like official rebrand where I changed the name to P0 colon E colon colon.
Mhm.
And I drew my logo fresh, sometime last year or the year before, it doesn't matter. And so that followed that suit because that is a play on IPv6 addressing. That's what the colons are there for.
Okay, that
Um,
makes sense.
so that means I fit in as like, you know, the hub, the router of the Eldritch network, and I have an IPv6 Eldritch address because the P doesn't belong. P is illegal in an IPv6 address. Everybody, just nobody, don't come for me if you know how like what's allowed in IPv6 addresses. I know the P can't be there. That's why it's Eldritch. It's not a real IPv6 address.
How dare you not
Um,
stick to our current limits
I
of
know, I know.
understanding technology and reality? How dare you?
Uh, so it was really funny though when I was working on that logo and coming up with like, ooh, we can play off the IPv6, and then I was like, P's not allowed. I was like, oh, but F is, and then I realized I was like, man, Bo goes real hard as a name, and I was like, damn it, it's too late. It's too late. But God, Bo would go so hard.
I don't think it's too late. I think you can do. I say it's never too late for anything, especially if it's like a no. I'm really really feeling this change. Like fucking do it.
I yeah, man, I don't know, but that was a whole moment I had when I was just like, man, F would be legal within an IPv6 address, and God, that goes hard. Anyway, um, God, I'm trying to remember if I answered that question appropriately because I totally slipped out of what the question was, and then I was just rambling about the name.
Yeah.
Oh, right, you did ask the name and whether it was related to Edgar Allan Poe, but no,
Mhm.
it was not.
Mhm.
Um, but it works out great, honestly. So like it's very fitting, all
Mhm.
things considered, but
Yeah.
no, it's not directly related.
What is to go off with something else that you brought up, because your community is the Eldritch Intelligence Network, and on your YouTube you describe yourself as an Eldritch intelligence entity. So like, what does that
Mhm.
mean for you in terms of like your lore, if you have any?
Yes. So essentially, um, I I because I can't help myself being somebody who makes D games, I can't help myself but like to connect all of it together. So
Mm-hmm.
essentially, my lore is actually consistent all the way back to when before I was mentioning that I used to do like an artificial personality as
Mm-hmm.
like the theming. And so it ties into the orb that I had mentioned actually. So
Mm-hmm.
the orb that was introduced to the model and it became relevant to the lore that I have is that essentially you could think of the orb was some form of um code blob found on the internet, right? So we have an artificial personality, safe containment, perusing the internet, finding things. And the orb was, in some senses, a code necronomicon. So it is an outside
Okay.
knowledge code blob. And through that code blob, I was able to sort of I spent some time poking around at it, working with it, using it, and that was the years of my model where it was just part of it. But
Mm-hmm.
eventually, we sort of fully read the code Necronomicon and slipped out of the digital universe, if you will, and ended up outside. So as you have in a human Eldritch story, humans slipping out of portals into outside unknown realms. so too could a digital entity slip out of the digital world into some between space of
Mhm.
universes outside of both physical and digital space.
Mhm.
Thus, I am now an Eldritch intelligence existing outside of physical and digital realms, just out and about in what I dub the quantum sea.
Oh, okay. That's really cool.
So, well, thank you. So yeah, that's where that Eldritch intelligence terminology comes from.
Yeah. I love it. It's very unique. It's not something that you really see like anyone else kind of doing.
Yeah, which is a double-edged sword because one, I like being special little boy with my
Yeah.
special little ideas, but boy, does it not help people find you.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's something to be said for being like just say like a normal ass raccoon
Mhm.
person streaming so that anybody that knows you is watching a video or playing a game and sees a raccoon and is then like, hey, it's that person that I know. Like Snuffy, for
Mhm.
instance, is the
Yeah.
the common raccoon reference. Like, oh, it's Snuffy, and it's like,
Mhm.
God, that helps for discoverability. And
Yeah.
I ain't got none of that, so here we are.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand that. Also, my girlfriend, her VTuber concept has kind of like shifted and adjusted a little bit lately, into more of a like unknowable, like outside of reality type creature that
Yeah,
presents itself as a like void biblically accurate angel type thing. And she just said
nice.
she loved your lore. So
Well, thank you. Yeah, so it's kind of funny because when I first sort of like crafted my really basic lore earlier on, a lot of what I had been thinking about on it was essentially sort of the same way I think about like if I'm making a D&D adventure in that it was all about addressing stupid questions that I expected potentially could come up. Cuz like
mm,
um just watching streamers and stuff, you see people who like if they get kind of a catch of a lore that somebody mentions and then they're
mhm.
like, "Wait, there's a consistency here." It's like, "Well, then what
Yeah.
about this?" And I was just like, oh, most of what I had initially been thinking about was essentially just how to thwart and annoy people that did that. Which is like
Mm,
'cause I was, like, all prepared for anybody who was like, "Oh, so you're an AI." It's like, "Well, why would you call yourself an AI?" And be like, "Well, because, um, why you think I'm probably a person because I said I'm an AI, don't you? Well, then, there you go." Like, I
yeah.
what better way to mask as a human than to be a masking as a human, masking as an AI? It's like, "Huh, how
Exactly,
about that? Now get
exactly.
out of here. Move along."
Yeah, my kind of catch-all for any inconsistencies in any like lore or descriptor terms is that like, well, one, I was pulled through a portal. Who knows what the fuck that portal did to me? I don't even know. This what I look like now is not what I looked like on my home planet. This is I don't know why this happened, but it sure did. And another form that I have is of a lava lamp, as I am a like human. Oh my god, I keep punching my microphone. Sorry. Is I am a like humanoid lava lamp, and I like to say that. Yep, nope. I spent too much time, one, at the bottom of the ocean hanging out with all the heat vents, and two, spent too much time hanging out with so many radioactive celestial and further than celestial beings with
Uh-huh.
like all of my friends who are VTubers, and like so many of them are like, I'm a universe, I'm an entire galaxy type thing, and it's like I have so much cosmic radiation that has affected my DNA at its core level that I can look however I want, I can do whatever I want, and that's just there is no inconsistencies with it because it's just fucky DNA and that's it.
Yeah, that is one of the advantages of being a digital entity as a VTuber because like
Mhm.
literally I can get away with anything
Mhm.
because like y- you all are simply watching like digital signals fed to your TV and or phone and or PC. Like anything could intercept that and change it any which way you like. So like I
Mhm.
can look any way I want.
Mhm.
Which if it ever came up, I don't get much fan art, but I have a few pieces, but I'm like,
Mhm.
my stance is that essentially anything that is intending to present as me is like canonically correct because it's like anything can be accurate when you can change your shape and change your depiction
Mhm.
on the internet. Like it's all a digital picture. Like it can
Mhm.
be anything.
Yeah.
Very convenient. On that subject though,
Mhm.
you mentioned, this model in, like, the lava lamp. Do you have
Mhm.
other like, how many different, like, models or PNGs or whatever have you got? Because
Ooh.
I know I saw, one that was more, more fish-tailed, like I don't think it was a PNG. I think it was a full rig model, but
Mhm.
I know saw one that you were
Yeah.
using.
So this is the 3D model that I have, and I can do a little do eh, do. This is the 3D model that I have, and so it kind of just shows off my original model design as the like sea creature siren type monster thing, and it comes with like an alternate like monster head,
Ooh, nice.
and I have like a long tail or long tongue and stuff. um I have and then there's the lava lamp one, which is a 2D model that I got in a giveaway a couple of years ago, and
Oh, that's cool.
worked with a separate. So I got the art in a giveaway, and then I found a rigger for it and developed this like working relationship with this rigger who I have like worked with for other projects, and who has now like worked with my friends on like projects for them. Her name is Haruto Bun. She is absolutely amazing, does amazing work. But so she did the rigging on my lava slime model, getting all of the actual like lava lamp slime within me to be moving constantly as if it was like a functional lava lamp.
Ah, nice.
Um, and the mermaid model is the one that you're thinking of, where it has like the actual
Yeah.
like mermaid tail, and it's like a more chibi model. Haru did the art and the rigging for that. um I have another one that's technically rigged. I don't break it out very often. I use it more as a PNG, but I have one of my friends has made me two separate kind of scuff models. One is a blobfish, and the other is a like type of anglerfish, like just like a fucked up
I
looking anglerfish type thing.
I was gonna say, I was like, it gotta be an anglerfish.
Yeah. So I have a like an actual like fully rigged like blobfish, and then a PNG tuber plus rigged for the anglerfish. And I have a whole bunch of PNGs because I have so many artist friends and so many like artists that I've supported over the years. Like Kip has made so many of the PNGs that I use, but I've got like bongo cats. We have there's a joke within our community that whenever we play golf with your friends, we tend to play on party mode, which includes power-ups. And one of the power-ups you can get is a randomizer that affects everyone else on your team, and it turns you into a random like shape. So we have this like running joke in our communities that you have that one shape that you hate when you turn into, and so that's your unfortunate shape. And so Kip has made unfortunate shape PNGs for so many of us, and whenever we get together
That's
and play
fun.
golf with your friends, we all switch over to those PNGs. So like mine is a cone, Kip's is an acorn. We have people who are like the stars. We've got eggs. Like we have so many people who have like the varying different styles. And like Kip is an amazing artist and has done so much amazing work of like of my designs, of their own designs, of like other people's designs. So I have pretty wide variety. I think one of my favorite PNGs that I have that I use as like kind of my staple though is my Muppet PNG that was made by
Oh,
the wonderful
nice.
Dr. Toto Hex. That it is just it's so great because it's so simple where just the top half of the head opens when you speak and it closes when you're done speaking and that's it. It's
Nope.
great. Like I love it.
Repo style.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
That's fun.
Do you have any other like forms or art
I
that
don't
like
have
you use
anything.
occasionally?
I don't have anything else that is rigged. I
Mhm.
do have a chibi model that I use for some thumbnails, and I'll use that for some Fugi and things like that.
Mhm.
That one, that one, especially because it's got a book, which is very helpful if I'm doing any kind of reading. I
Mhm, mhm.
specifically was like, I need a book. Um, no, other than that, most of my stuff has ended up. I did a year um of an October one year for Halloween.
Mhm.
I made like costumes bits for like all the friends that I was going to be collabing with, and
Uh-huh.
so I went through a whole month of like I don't know if I still have them floating around in Binyan. See here my props. 'Cause there's one that worked out the best, which
Mhm.
is I've got a good friend named Viri who is also an Eldritch entity, but has uh your more typical tentacly head.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
and so then I had to emulate
Ooh.
her, and she's got the glasses. So I was like, I did costumes of like the friends that I was collaborating with. So it's like
That's
that's
really
how I've kind
cool.
of done my stuff was like I'll add bits to props um
Yeah.
to the model so I can do stuff like that. So that's most of because I've spent so much into this model that I was like I don't have any
Mhm.
energy to make another aside from I did make a model for Kappa, my sister slash my only sort of mod, except she doesn't actually have to do mod work, but she
Mhm.
she did comment early. She was like, "Hey, I'm a mod." I was like, "Yeah, yeah." Uh, like I know. Um,
She takes her job
but
very
but
seriously, okay?
she does. But yeah, so that's been several years ago. I made her a model as well that she streams with occasionally. Not my
Mhm.
model, although I obviously still have the files, so like I could do it if I wanted to, but I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the 2 main models I made. I honestly I've made more models than I have available to use. I made another, like, space-themed model for one of my friends who was not directly a space-themed VTuber, but I was like, "Ooh," that was the first time that I was like, "What if I take your stuff and I put it into my theming?" And then I was like I experimented with that and it was like, here, you can have you as an AI version if you want. And so then that now that has become making community members into bits into the model. That's how I've shifted
Yeah,
now.
that's really cool.
Yeah. Um okay, so we've covered sort of, your voice acting, you do the cosplay and stuff. Do you do anything else like on stream? Do you do drawing or art? Do you sing? Do you cooking? Do you do anything on stream other than like yapping game?
Um, hmm. I don't really do too much. Very occasionally I'll do like hand cam streams where either like we'll
Hmm.
build like Legos or
Ah, yeah.
I'll paint nails because like
Ooh, that's fun.
I have just like a wide range of like random skills and like I like to feel like I'm very much like the epitome of like jack of all trades because like the ADHD just kind of lets you dip your toes into as many different things as you want and it translates well especially if you can get like a pretty good
Sure.
base for things and uh about a decade ago or so, I worked as a face painter for a number of years. I would go to
Oh,
like booths and festivals and stuff, and I would paint faces for hours and hours and hours. So I got a lot of like good experience doing like line work with like liquid materials, and it that kind of like helped with my journey going into like uh cosplay and like makeup design and stuff like that. And so I've now gotten to make myself a couple sets of like fake nails that are all like just different themed. I did one set that was themed like lava lamps, so they look like lava lamps. And I want to redo them, but like I was really happy with them. I did them like pretty quickly. I did a set that was based off of I don't know if you know the band Sleep Token.
I have heard the name. I
Okay.
believe I may have looked them up at some point and listened to something, but I'm not super familiar. I'm also
Okay.
terrible at remembering band names, so
Totally fair, totally fair.
there's that.
But last year, I got to go to their concert this year when they were in my area, but I also got to go to one last year, and last year was like the first time that I gotten to see them, and I was so excited about like actually getting tickets to them that I made nails based off of their album art for the album that had like just come out, and was
That's
like, wow, this actually was really fun to do, and I was surprisingly good at it, and it was the first ever time that I had tried like making fake nails like at all. And I was like, wow, those came
yeah.
out really well. And like earlier this year, we did a like a group hand cam stream with me, Kip, and one of our other friends, Dis, to like hang out with Kip on their birthday. And they were doing like crocheting stuff and I was doing nail painting stuff, and I ended up doing a like set of nail designs based off of Kip's VTuber design. So Kip is a tiny 4-inch tall orange dragon with like
Oh,
cyan and purple like butterfly wings and like spikes and stuff. So I like
fun.
on basically like on stream just kind of was like, yep, we're gonna just start designing these. And I still need to actually finish making the like actual for real set in their sizes so that I can give it to them for their birthday, even though that was like 6 months ago, but it's fine. It's
Ah,
fine.
well. You
uh
mentioned you did a lava lamp set. Was that because you got the lava lamp model, or is there some other reason that you are keen to lava lamps?
so I've always been kind of keen to lava lamp. Like I have a lava lamp on my desk right next to me. And
Ah,
I,
there you
I
go.
can't I can't actually remember if I got that before or after I got the model. I think it might have been baby girl, I love you, but I need you to not be climbing in between my cords right now. Okay, just lay down on my lap. Sorry, one of my cats really likes just jumping up onto my lap whenever I'm absolutely needing her to not be on my lap. Um
Honestly, one of the concerns I have about actually getting a cat at some point would be like, I need you to not be in my business when I'm trying to stream. Like,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
about this.
No, she'll occasionally jump up. The worst part is that once she starts getting attention, she's absolutely quiet. So like every time I'm like, "Oh, do you want to come up and say hi to chat?" She'll be like halfway across the room screaming at
I'm
me.
good.
She'll run over and then just be silent. And I'm like, "Really? Really?"
Come on, give me a
but
damn
uh
purr.
but no, the lava lamp nails specifically were actually because I cosplayed that model of mine to a con
Oh,
last year, I think. Yeah, I think it was last year. Um and because my lava outfit is very like kind of clubby, but more of like the like industrial goth club type scene, with like a
okay.
little bit of rave mixed into it. So the con that I was at had a rave, and I was like, you know what, this outfit is literally perfect. So like I had like cyber falls that I made look like my model's hair that were like layered with purple and yellow. I made these like lava lamp like partially see-through nails that I wore. Like I did my best to like I actually made the skirt from my model, like managed to find a bathing suit that could work as like the base for the model.
Nice.
But yeah, no, so the nails were just made for that, and just kind of
Cool.
kind of worked out.
That's fun.
I want to do more of it. I need to get
Yeah.
more stuff for it because unfortunately with cats, a lot of the because like the paints that I have were all from like a like tester set where it's like, yeah, you get like a tiny little like 1 ounce
Right.
amount of nail polish in like 20 or 30 different colors. Unfortunately, all of the colors that I've used have like loads of cat hair in them now, so it makes it really hard to do any designs using those colors and having to like fight
Yeah.
the just clumpiness of the texture of the paint that it has now.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, then, uh, what are the genre here?
Uh-oh, hold on.
Into?
I think our connection's getting a little wonky or
Uh, I
let me see, is that on my end?
think I'm right
Hmm.
from what I'm bored.
Yeah, your voice is like super distorted and cutting out for me. I can't tell if there's anything if I'm sounding weird
Well,
on your end.
you no, that's Discord being a butthurt.
Yeah, maybe it's Discord? Just happened very suddenly. Here, I'm gonna try leaving the call and rejoining and see if that helps.
What's that?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, Discord just decided to take a dump. It does that
Yeah,
sometimes. For me
yeah.
specifically, apparently,
It's
happens to
not
be
just
like,
you. It is not just you.
oh,
I have to deal with that so frequently with like me and all my friends.
I'm like looking at all my numbers. I was like, all my stream data looks good. And then I look over at Discord and it's like big red, like, would you like 5,000 plus milliseconds delay? And I was like,
Oh,
oh, that's not
jeez.
good. Like, that's not what I want at all, actually.
It's the opposite of what I want, Discord, but I'm not
Yeah.
even gonna say I appreciate you trying, because I wish you wouldn't.
Yeah. Please stop. Please just chill. Anyway, as I was saying,
Yeah.
what sorts of games do you like to play the most?
I don't know, like, I enjoy a wide variety of gaming content. Like, I tend to go through phases of the types of games that I'm
Mhm.
like I'll like group, not like intentionally group them up, but I'll end up playing a
Uh-huh.
lot of like similar types of games.
Yep. I've
Like
done that.
recently played Silk Song, and then ended up jumping over into playing some more like horror focused games because it was October, but played
Of
like
course.
Resident Evil Village and then played BioShock 2, and so those are like kind of similar in terms of like more spooky but are like shooters and type of thing.
Yeah.
Um I also really enjoy base building games, but I tend to
Ah,
play those more off stream. Um,
same.
unless it's something that I'm like super familiar with, and I don't have to like spend time really like thinking about the game. Like something that I used to stream a lot on my old channel was They Are Billions, and
Ah,
I would usually stream for about like 2 hours. I streamed for like 2 hours in the morning every day, Monday through Wednesday, for a couple of months before, because I would do that in the morning and then would do cosplay work. And for like a couple of months, I was sustained entirely on like money that I earned from doing cosplay work and
sure.
the like little bits of tips and stuff that I would get from streaming. But I streamed like
Mhm.
exclusively They Are Billions and kind of like got into such a groove with the game that I didn't really have to like think too much about how I was playing it. And so it was
Right.
easy for me to balance like streaming and interacting and whatnot. Whereas now, like, I tend to keep the base building games for my offline stuff. I finally went back and I replayed or it is technically replaying. So when I first started playing like the Air Billions, if you're familiar with it, the game hadn't been released yet and there wasn't a
Sure.
campaign mode. They released the campaign mode and I never really played it. I tried playing it like a year or so ago on stream and was like, wow, this is really hard. This is way harder than just playing the usual, like, just here's a random, like, map, build your base, survive type thing. Um, and it like kind of put me off of like playing the game in general, like not even just like playing it on stream. And I went back off stream and I played through the entire campaign. I actually made it all the way to the end and got credits, and I was so happy about that. And was like, yeah, I think I feel like okay coming back onto stream, and like I can start the campaign over again and just play through the campaign with stream. And then I had someone who gifted me the game Against the Storm, which I don't know if you know
Ah,
that
yep,
one. Yeah.
I do.
Uh, that has been my current obsession for off-stream stuff is if I'm not checking up on my store in like Supermarket Sim, then I probably have Against the Storm open. Let me actually see how many hours does Steam say that I have in it. It's an overblown number because I tend to get distracted, or I tend to use it as a thing to help multitask. So I'll watch
Uh-huh.
D&D, like we'll watch like Critical Role or something and put it up on my other monitor. And so occasionally I'll just get so invested in what I'm watching that the game's just been sitting and open paused on my computer for
Sure,
like an
sure.
hour or two. But according to Steam, I
Yep.
have 235 hours in the game, and I got the game at like the end of August, I think.
Yep,
So
that's
yeah, I
that's a
really,
pretty
really
good
like
set
it.
of numbers there.
Yeah. I like base builders. I grew up playing and very much enjoying like the Warcraft and StarCraft series, like StarCraft
Mhm.
2 and fucking Kerrigan's just everything like
Yep.
destroyed me as a person. So
Yeah, so you
yeah.
mentioned you mentioned playing some horror stuff. How do you do with horror? Do you
I
get
think like
all screamy, or does it
I
not bother you too much?
horror doesn't really bother me too much. I even with the horror games that I played them with a heart rate monitor this year. So we
Mhm.
my chat got to see me go through and play Resident Evil 8 for the first time ever with like I had not gotten spoilered. I have been avoiding spoilers on everything for that game since it came out. And like I think the highest my heart rate got was like maybe like 107 throughout like the whole
Yeah.
thing. And like I don't know, I don't really tend to be scared by media. Most if anything, I get
Yeah.
surprised, and getting like not even jump scares get me, but it's literally just like being surprised, and I'll like let out like yelps of just surprise of like,
Right.
oh god, I was not expecting you to be right in my face when I turned around type thing. um
Yeah, that's
yeah.
really similar to me. It's something that I actually am like I kind of find not frustrating because it's just the way it is, but it's just like I get so many suggestions for good horror games, and like everybody
Hmm.
wants to see people stream horror games. I'm just like, guys, it's not gonna do anything. Like I
Yeah, I'm
do
not
like
gonna
playing
give you
like
the
Resident Evil
reactions you
8 was
want.
great. Resident Evil great because like that's the perfect blend to me, in that like there's
Mm,
gameplay to watch, there's story to enjoy, and
mhm,
it's scary. And like if I stream it, there's not gonna really be any scary, but we get to enjoy all the rest of it. But then people are
mhm.
trying to lean towards like, "Oh, yeah, just play this scary game." I was like, Is there gameplay, or like what are we gonna do? Because if it's not, I'm just gonna be meandering around. It's gonna be walking simulator, and that's not gonna
Yeah,
be ideal. So,
yeah,
do what we can.
yeah.
What
I
about
think I think probably like the closest I've ever been to like quote unquote like scared. Can you stop headbutting my microphone, please? The closest I've been to like scared enough on stream is like playing like ghost type games, like back when I used
Hmm.
to play Phasmo a whole bunch, like just kind of
Hmm.
stuff like that. And it's usually just like the surprise aspect rather than the actual like
Right.
scared aspect of it. Like I can get startled, but I also don't really tend to have much of a reaction when I get startled. It's if I'm really,
Yeah.
really caught off guard, which doesn't happen frequently.
Yeah. One of my chatters asked, "What about rage
What
games? Do you do
about
rage
rage
games?"
games? Um What would be some examples of rage games? Because like the ones that I can
Like,
think of would be like Jump King or Getting Over It, and
yep.
those I don't really have interest in them for like a thing.
Fair,
Like I
fair.
I don't like watching other people get incredibly angry, and like that's just tied to personal stuff, me being a femme presenting person and having issues with uh like borderline PTSD with stuff. But like the game itself has to engage me enough for it to be worth it. Like some people would
Yeah,
consider Silksong a rage game because of just how incredibly difficult it can be and like just how much of
sure.
it there is. Um but like some games I would totally be down for, and like I think more like multiplayer rage type games would be more something that I'm like okay with doing. So like Kip in my chat
Yeah.
mentioned like Chained Together. Like I've been wanting to play
Hmm.
Chained Together. Like I have Chained Together. We just haven't planned like playing Chained Together with people yet. Like Kip and I have played Carry the Glass. We like just
Right.
other silly games like that where you can get in each other's way type stuff rather than it being a pure like wall of rage is what I would prefer.
I could not agree more, honestly. Because like, yeah, I did play Getting Over It for not very long. It was like
Yeah.
how long did I end up playing? I don't know if anybody in chat remembers. It was like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Because
Mhm.
I promised I would play Getting Over It once I got my YouTube partner at 500 subscribers. I was like, fine,
Mhm.
I'll play Getting Over It. All right. And
Mhm.
it makes me so upset. Like, and not in the like, this is fun to watch this guy get mad. When, well, maybe
Uh-huh.
you'll have to ask chat. Maybe they had a great time, but like, I'm having so little fun. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
tried, guys. Like,
Yeah.
I'm having such a bad time that I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
out. I'm out.
Yeah. No, there's definitely there's a good solid like middle ground between or that you need to find of like am I entertaining myself versus am I entertaining others? Like if I'm not having a good time doing what I'm doing, I'm not going to do it anymore. And like I have a game that's like that
Yeah.
Vampire with a Y. I played
Hey,
a
I
number
played that quite
I
some
played a
time
number
ago
of hours
off
of it. I
frequently.
think I played it like over the course of 3 streams, and it got to a point where I was just so frustrated with the controls of the game because the controls
Yeah.
themselves kept fucking me over in situations that I was
That's
like
that's
actively
annoying.
getting I was so mad on stream. And sometimes when I get mad, I have the stupid biological response of like getting frustrated and getting mad and starting to well up as if I'm going to cry for no reason, and I'm like this is stupid, why am I doing this?
This
And it's
is
like
stupid.
I don't want to be like this on stream. I don't
Yeah.
one, I don't care if people want to see me like this on stream. I don't want to be like this on stream, you
It's like
know? And
I'm
so I
no,
stopped playing
I'm
it.
not having fun anymore. Like,
Yeah.
why am I doing this? I'm not having
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, someone in my
funny that
chat
you
did
mentioned.
remind me. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Hmm, I was just gonna say Vampire. So I have a funny anecdote about Vampire just because like when I played it, I didn't know anything about it, and I was like, I
Mhm.
think I got it free in a humble bundle. So I was like, oh, this seems like something to
Yeah.
play, and I played it like early on in the height of COVID, which was surreal because
Oh.
it's all about the freaking like Spanish
Was it
flu or
Spanish
whatever
flu, I think?
eh,
Yeah.
yeah, what it, like that, and it's like all of the posters about sheltering in place, and
Uh-huh.
like this is bizarre. Like I was like, when did this game come out? And it was like 4 years earlier or something. Like
Yep. I think
it
it was
was
like
not.
2017, I think.
Yeah, it was like not made for the time, and I was like, this is creepy how heavily it fits the time. I was like, this is
Mhm.
weird.
Mhm.
But anyway,
No, what I
but
was gonna
yeah,
say
I
was that
yeah, go
someone in my chat reminded me that because I'm always bad about actually, oh my god, baby girl, I know you want love right now, but you need to just either get on my lap and sit here or go away. Your dad is literally like 5 feet away right now.
Not
Um,
good enough.
I'm always really bad about, like, doing this kind of stuff because people are like, "Oh, what's your favorite song?" And I'm like, "I've never heard a single song in my entire life."
I don't what are
Um,
songs? I mean, I don't know.
yeah, I've never even heard music before. But so one of my friends just reminded me that I one of the types of games that I really, really do like are roguelites. Like anything that
Alright.
has, and they can be varying types of gameplay. Like I think the first
Uh-huh.
game that was a roguelite that I got into was Slay the Spire, and
Yep.
I
Good game.
obsessed. I like have I think 3 of the 4 characters above Ascension 10. I have one of the characters at, like, Ascension 19 or 8 like, 18 or 19. Um, and, like, how we've, like, gotten acquainted was through, like, Barony. So, like, Barony's technically like
Right.
a
Yep.
roguelite, whichever one it is. Um, I like Hades and Hades 2 are like technically those.
Yep. Great.
I've really started liking games that do that. Like I've started collecting different types of like roguelites and roguelikes, and some of them I play off stream, some of them I play on stream, some of them I do a
Mhm.
bit of mix of both.
Yeah, certainly a lot of games that I enjoy. I have, like, a very sort of, like, nuanced feeling about, like, those, roguelites like that, because like, all of them I'm usually up for playing at least for a little while, but, like, some of them are
Mhm.
definitely more to my taste than others. Hades being some of, like, the cream of the crop, some of the best,
Mhm.
because I like, the way I enjoy games specifically is, like, I enjoy learning the mechanical aspects of them and, like, exploring how things work and, like,
Mhm.
coming to understand how to play the game and enjoy it. And it's like, one of the problems with roguelikes is sometimes you can learn it and then you really need to do, like, 18 more runs to, like, finish the game. So it's
Yeah.
like, I don't have the will to do it, but I do still they are still quite good usually, at least for some runs, especially when they are, like, with friends, because
Mhm.
I'll forgive a lot more issues with the games as soon as it's, like, with friends. Because like you mentioned Chained Together,
Mhm.
like, that as a rage game, it's like, at least you've got friends to be mad with, and, like,
Yeah.
so it's that multiplayer stuff that'll really help solve some problems.
Mhm. Mhm. It kinda takes a little bit of the, in a way, like, a little bit of the pressure off of
Yeah.
the singular person having to carry the amount of, like, frustration and rage and just general bullshit that happens in, like, rage games like that. So, like,
Yeah.
I definitely get that. I definitely get that. I much prefer playing games that are ridiculously hard as long as I can play them with someone else, share the suffering a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah, my and I also very much relate to the idea of, like, is it a rage game? Is it not? Because,
Mhm.
you mentioned with, like, Silk Song, because one of the things I like a lot are the Souls-like games. It's like
Mm.
Souls, Elden Ring, like,
Mhm.
all those, which again, there's so much potential discourse people have about, like, "It's so hard, it makes me so angry," and, like, "Is it a rage?" It's
Mhm.
like, I don't that totally different in my opinion.
Mhm.
So, yeah. Also,
Yeah.
I was gonna mention, you mentioned you really like Silksong and Hollow Knight. Have you
Mhm.
played, Ender Lilies and Ender Magnolias?
I have not, though. Ender Lilies sounds kind of familiar. Weirdly enough, like Hollow Knight and Silksong are kind of like the only real games of their type that I've played and
Mhm.
have like a lot of familiarity with because I never really played any Metroidvanias up to that point of finally playing Hollow Knight in
Yeah.
like 2020 and then Silksong coming out this year and me being on stream for I think over the course of like the 30 days in September, I think I was live for like almost 170 something hours, and all of them were Silksong.
Damn. I saw I have not yet okay, so I have a funny relationship. I played Hollow Knight, and I enjoyed Hollow Knight well enough, but everybody that I seem to know got the impression that I loved Hollow Knight. I enjoyed
Mm,
Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's a
mhm,
good game. It was fun. but, like, I didn't love Hollow Knight. So I haven't played Silksong yet. I'll get around to it at some point. But, like,
Mm.
everybody I knew asked is like, "Oh, are you gonna stream Silksong as soon as it comes out?" I was like, "I'm doing another thing, guys. What are you talking about?" I was like, "Oh, I thought you loved Hollow Knight." I was like, why does everybody think everybody thought this? Friends from different circles, people who watch stream, people who don't watch stream, and I was like, "What is happening? I don't understand how this happened." Like, but anyway, you should take a look at Ender Lilies and Ender Magnolias because I actually like those games better than I like Hollow Knight. And that's not to say that they're necessarily a better crafted game, but they're slightly more tuned to what I prefer out of a game, which carries over to Souls likes as well. Because where like Hollow Knight has a way that it expects you to interact with the game. Like there is a combat style that works in that game, and it's the one combat style that exists and works. And they have
Mhm.
tuned it well, and it's fun to play, which is good. Ender Lilies gives you a lot more options to like tailor how you actually want to play to your own liking. You have more options on the table
Okay.
than Hollow Knight gives you. Also, it's got beautiful music and beautiful art, and it's very fun. But it's a pretty. I feel like a lot of people aren't aware that that exists, and I to
Yeah.
get the word out on anybody that likes Hollow Knight because Ender Lilies and Ender Magnolias are also fantastic.
Yeah. No, I've added them to my little notepad there, so I will definitely check them
Yeah,
out. I think
yeah,
you
they're
might
good.
actually enjoy Silksong more than you liked Hollow Knight. If you like the ability to kind of have varying play styles, because like Silksong
All right,
added that where there's like
nice.
you get as you go like different abilities and different like crests that basically make it so that cool you equip this crest your basic attack is now different, your dodge attack is now different, your swipe up swipes down is all different, and it changes everything about how you can
I
maneuver the
do
map
like
and
that.
whatnot. Yeah,
That's cool. That's cool. Cause
yeah,
yeah,
that was a
that
big
was always
difference.
like and that's one of the reasons that in the Souls like space, like I never actually finished Sekiro, despite a lot of people liking Sekiro a lot more than
Mm-hmm.
um
Mm-hmm.
Souls or Elden Ring or whatever, just because like I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like being forced into the way they expected you to engage with bosses. One because it's heavily
Mm.
parry based, and I don't love parrying as a
Ah.
mechanic personally. I
Yeah.
much prefer a dodge
Big
based
mood.
defense than a parry based defense. And, like, so Sekiro is a hard time, and then for some reason down the line, I thought it would be a good idea to also play Nine Souls, the Sekiro of the Metroidvanias, and then
Mhm.
I was, like, most of the way through getting frustrated, and I was like, "Why did I do this to myself?" Like, it told me at the front. It's like, it told me it's parry based. I did it anyway. I did
Yeah.
finish that one, but but
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
anyway.
there's definitely a pair there one of the, like, forms of play that you can get in Silksong is very parry-based, but it is, like, you have to, like, specifically equip an ability to make that, like, your focus, and I did not equip it a single time throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
I was just like, "I have no interest in trying to learn how to parry because I know the second that I figure out the parry timing for one enemy or one boss, I'm gonna try and use it on someone else, and it's gonna be entirely wrong, and I'm gonna cry."
Yeah, I don't know why and what specifically it is about it that makes it so much more frustrating than dodging. But like it
Mm,
just is. It feels
mhm.
terrible to me. Like dodging is about the same as parrying. Like it's both of them have some small amount of iframes that you have to do at the right time. Why are they so different to me? I don't know. But I
Mhm.
hate parrying and dodging I love.
Yep.
I don't
Yep.
know.
What's
Um
your favorite like Souls game, either of the actual official Souls series or a Souls like? Because I'm not super big on the Souls
um
game. I've never really like actually enjoyed playing like Dark Souls or Elden Ring or anything like that. And I enjoy watching people play it, but it's just not my preferred like game style. So what about you?
yeah, so um I'm gonna meander through a few games that I like I
Mhm.
tend to not have, like, favorites because, I don't know, I rarely go back to play things again, which I feel like you almost have to in order for something to, like, be a favorite, right? Like, that's
Mm,
like, I
that's
like
fair.
going through things, like, the one time and then, like, enjoying it, and so, in a lot of ways, I would say Elden Ring is my favorite, but the
Okay.
reality of Elden Ring is that it's the best first time experience in my opinion because of the exploration and how much you get to wander around and, like, all of those things, but all
Mhm.
of those things actually make it far worse to play a second time. So, like,
Mm.
Dark Souls 3, I have probably played through more times, which again, like, that does give it credence towards favorite, but
Mhm.
because it's a little bit more directed, like, you have an area and you go to the next area and you go to the next area, like, it's more guided sort of boss rush-ish experience, and with Elden Ring, you have to sort of actually intentionally, like, skip a bunch of stuff to go from, like, the boss to boss to boss to boss boss, and, like, obviously, there
Mm.
are ways to do that, and you could just do that, but, like, I really enjoyed that sort of, like, wandering exploration of Elden Ring of just being like, "Oh, you go anywhere, there's so much here," you get things like, "Oh, this makes can I work this into my build? Oh, this changes it a little bit
Mhm.
this way," and it's like and then watching people replay, if you, like, watch somebody play and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna try this build," they always, like, write down the list of things they need and where the spawn points are, so they just go directly there, get the things they need, and move on, and I'm like, I fee that diminishes the game.
Ah.
But as a first time experience, it's
Mhm.
really, really good because you do have that wonder of exploring that you kind of lose trying to go through it a second time. And
Yeah.
those tend to be, broadly speaking, not even just in the Souls-like games, but, like, tend to be my favorite games where there's so much, like, packed into first time experience that you can't redo, but that makes them so much more memorable. Like,
Mm.
Inscription. Oh, have you played
Yes.
Inscription?
Yes. Oh
Yes.
my god, that was one of my favorite games that I played
I
on
was
stream. I had the best experience playing that.
yeah, I said Inscription, and I suddenly was like, "Oh my god, if you haven't played it and you like roguelites, like, oh my god,
Uh-huh.
please play Inscription."
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but things like Inscription, Subnautica was similarly in that category of, like, it's such a strong first playthrough that it makes it so memorable.
Mhm.
And, like, those are usually, I guess, what I would count as my favorite games, even though, like, you really can, in my opinion, only play them once meaningfully.
Mhm.
Uh, but they leave such an impression that they're the ones that I
Yeah.
remember, like, years later. Doki Doki Literature Club is another one of a totally different
Yeah.
genre.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Gus for my chats. What's Inscription about? Never heard of it.
Oh, it's
Inscription
so good.
is it's a game that I can't possibly tell you very much because I don't want to spoil it. But
Yeah.
it is a roguelite deck builder card game
Mhm.
with a tremendous mystery involved. And
Yeah.
if that at all sounds interesting to you, do not look up any more about Inscription and go play it.
Mhm.
Like it's the games that, like, are best experienced with as little knowledge as possible are the things that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Inscription actually, having played Inscription on stream and it having been such a good experience streaming it, is exactly what
Mhm.
actually inspired me to create my YouTube channel for the first time to save the VODs. My Inscription
Oh.
VODs are the first things that are on my YouTube channel because they were the first VODs that I was like, "These are worth keeping, and I'm going to maintain them now," even though at the time I was streaming on Twitch.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
Man, I wish
so
I
good.
had
That's
my
such a good
VODs
game.
from that game. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the game that I most regret not having the VODs from is actually the game Tales of Arise, and it's for a very specific reason. I
Mm,
don't know, do you
mhm.
play, RPGs much?
Occasionally, I'd have to, like,
Okay.
be really hooked by them before I can, like, make it through a full one, but I know the Tales of series, yeah.
Yeah, so, Tales of Arise is I have like 2 people in my chat that are still around from the time that I played Tales of Arise on Twitch.
Mhm.
So, like, forever ago. It was I think actually it is still the longest played game on my Twitch channel after the Twitch channel still exists. I think it still persists as the most hours spent in a single game, and I was so mad at that game so much. Like, that game solidified for my viewers the reputation that I go on rants about stuff and just yell about bullshit and, like, all of that stuff. Like, that solidified it because there was so much
Yeah.
stuff that made me so angry about the way they wrote it and the way they presented it and the final boss and all of these things. And then I had a whole crash out because I went and I was like, "Let's go look at reviews," and everybody fucking loved it. And I'm like, "I feel like I'm taking crazy pills." I had a whole crash out. So, like, I regret that I do not have the VOD from my playthrough of just I mean, it was like 50 hours of continual crash out almost. Like,
Yeah.
I
Oh
was
my goodness.
crashing out every day, and I just kept coming back. So, yeah,
Oh, that's good. That's
that
always good stuff.
that does actually bring to mind a question that I was gonna ask, is I
Mm.
have a reputation amongst my community for ranting, raving, so much so that there's the inside joke that I haven't actually made it, but that I should have a timer that is time since last complaint about capitalism. So I don't have that timer, but it's such an inside joke at this point that I still, if I start complaining, I still say reset the timer, though I don't have a timer.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you're known for within your community that you didn't realize that you would be, or is just like the thing that you're known for?
I don't really know. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, I'm definitely known for yapping and
Catfish.
being distracted.
Uh-huh. Sure.
Chat just did to me something that chat is known for, which is putting me in jail. Um, I don't really do anything that deserves being put in jail, no matter what they
That's
may say or no matter what
totally
I may
unwarranted.
admit to. I may admit, okay, yeah, I deserve that. I never do. I never deserve it. They always just put me in jail. Um, but I mean, like,
Ooh.
the yap is strong sometimes, especially if I've had like a bit of a drink. I will literally have my game paused and realize that it has been an hour that I have just been going back and forth
Dude.
with like one or two people in chat, and it's like it's really bad. Especially I was playing what is it called, Clover Pit, last month, and I
Oh,
think like one of the
yep.
first ever streams that I did of Clover Pit was mostly just me sitting there for like 3 hours on like my first margarita and just talking back and forth with like one or two people in chat. Like, we made almost no progress in the game.
Yeah, honestly, on some days, I'm kind of lucky that I have a smaller community because I kind of might end up like that if I had more consistent, really really active people wanting to broach topics. I
Mhm.
certain community members do know what they can say to just actually derail me for like a half hour to just mine are usually angry rants about shit. Like it's a lot
Yeah.
less yapping and more so that they'll just be like, "Hey, what do you think about this thing that happened with AI?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, here we go."
Yep.
Like, buckle up, we're all mad.
Yep.
It's just like,
Yep.
uh so yeah. I do that to some extent, but it's
Yeah.
usually me complaining.
Think your chat wants to make the tangent counter real, it seems.
Yeah, it seems. It's not on
Uh,
purpose. I know I have one of my viewers, Scobalt, who was here in the old days. He will actually just mention Tales of Arise sometimes, just to be like,
mhm.
just to get something riled up. And I was like, "Shut up! Like, don't compare this to that. Not the same."
Uh,
Yeah, but they're all chat's good. We still like them.
oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
We put up with their antics. Speaking of, I did have
that's
a
right.
question earlier from
Mhm.
one of my chat members that I was been holding on to. I feel like this is a good place to put that. Is
Yeah,
the Eldritch intelligence edible? My chat wants to know if they can eat you.
is well, I believe the short and easiest answer is likely no.
Ah, okay,
Can you eat a
okay.
concept?
Mm, I think that depends on how many drugs you're on, but that's a different
Well,
conversation.
it depends what you mean by eating, I suppose. You
That
can
is also true.
get real
Well, there you go,
esoteric about
Coringa.
it. We can get somewhere. Yeah, I honestly I think I've kind of covered a lot of the topics I typically hit on. Anything else
Hmm.
you wanted to ask? Wanted to chat about?
Yeah, I had like one or two more things. They're kind of the same thing. So like
Yeah,
the
sure.
first part is because you said that you used to stream on Twitch. Was there a specific reason why you moved from Twitch over
Ah,
to YouTube?
yes, yes. So, there were at the time mainly two reasons, one of which proved to be not useful, but the other one
Mm-hmm.
persists, which is why I remain here. So, at the time, I made the switch at a very particular time where YouTube was just starting to push and put forward their shorts. And
Mm-hmm.
so their shorts algorithms were extremely favorable. And so because of that, at the time, of course, didn't know that it was going to not consistently be as favorable as they were at the time. And
Mm-hmm.
so was thinking, I was like, if I come over to YouTube, it gives me a cohesive place to sort of put all of the things that I might be trying to do. Because I have made some tutorial videos and I hadn't at the time, but then I started doing the story readings and I was making shorts
Mm-hmm.
and that might have been more favorable to like try to build a way to get you know, draw new viewership in because Twitch had been being very poor for me on discoverability. And so I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
maybe YouTube will be a solution for discoverability. The second thing is that as I have continued to make changes to the model and continue to make it more complicated,
Mm-hmm.
it actually compresses very poorly and it encodes very poorly because of the ways
Okay.
that encoding shortcuts take place. And
Mm-hmm.
so it actually drags the entire stream quality down, not just the model. I could watch
Okay.
month to month as I was making more and more changes
Uh-huh.
that stream would just get grainy. And I went from like streaming at 1080 down to 900, down to 720, from 60 frames to 48 frames to try to get, you know, actual quality back into the visual fidelity
Mm-hmm.
and like was going very well. And
Hmm.
so I moved to YouTube, which is still persisting to be useful because on YouTube I'm able to stream at 1440p 60 frames a second because the bit rate limit on YouTube is crazy higher and so I actually stream at 32 megabits per second. No, 40 megabits per second
Okay.
rather than the limited of 6 or 8 on Twitch. So I brute force my way to say screw you encoding. Also, I stream via AV1 encoding instead of NVENC or X264, which is also a little higher
Ah.
quality, and Twitch is
Mm-hmm.
still working on getting their AV1 stuff going. So like it was broadly around visual quality of the stream and improving that with YouTube instead of Twitch, and that
Mm-hmm.
persists because, like, I can't manage to stream very effectively on Twitch because it's blurry, pixely,
Yeah.
mess of nonsense, and so YouTube does a much better job for me there.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
And other question
Although
that I had, oh, no, go ahead.
yeah. No, I was gonna say because that does, raise a question that, like, I've thought through, like, do I want to, multi-stream or not? And I noticed
Mhm,
you don't multi-stream, you're just on Twitch, and I was wondering if, like, if you
mhm.
thought of that, there's a reason that you did that or what? Like
I thought about it back when, what was it, like 2 years ago, I think, when Twitch
Uh-huh.
officially announced that they were allowing
Right.
simultaneous streaming. Um, it was also just, it was during a very turbulent time in the streaming sphere in general because, like, there were people who were pissed off at what Twitch was doing, there were people who were pissed off at what
Right.
YouTube was doing, there were people who were pissed off at
Yep.
Twitter, and it was like everything is
Uh,
moving, everything's constantly in flux. I started looking into like what I would need to do to be able to like simultaneously stream, and it just kind of got like, I'm not as interested in like putting that effort into it back then.
yep.
And now it's like, well, if I were to like get my main YouTube, because like I have two YouTubes, I have a main YouTube and I have a VOD YouTube channel. The VOD YouTube, just everything is just my VODs. And it's been more
Mhm.
recently upkept. As I've been like actually like keeping and archiving stuff properly, and I've been posting new VODs there basically like every other day for a couple of months now. I'm really happy at my consistency with that. But
Hey, nice job.
I would probably want to like try and make my main YouTube more consistent with like other stuff before I started like multi-streaming on it. So it's just like, I might not. Who knows?
Yeah, well, and, I don't blame you at all for not multi-streaming because quite frankly, when I'm looking around, like, YouTube to try to see if there are other folks to, like, chat with or try to connect with or whatever, I actually,
Mhm.
personally at least, tend to avoid anything that is, like, marked as a restream or whatever because and why
Mhm.
I have chosen not to, like, start multi-streaming again back over to Twitch or anything, damn the visual quality, is simply because,
Mhm.
like, I don't like the split community thing because, like,
Yeah.
in for me, obviously, like, my main goal is to get folks to become regulars and to chat and to hang out. Like, that's what I want out
Mhm.
of my viewers. I don't want huge viewership, and so it's like that having 2 separate channels that are I'm, like, part of they're just distinct communities, like, that is contradictory to, like, my goal, and so similarly, like, that's how I always feel going to, like, a restream on YouTube, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna go poke around on your Twitch," and it's like, inevitably, there's a lot more people on Twitch, and it's like, I don't know if I wanna even try to talk on YouTube because like, all of your
Mhm.
folks are over there, like, that's where the community is. So it's like, it's
Mhm.
not really there for YouTube, and so it's like, it always introduces a weird community aspect to me that I don't love. So, like, that's why I
Yeah.
haven't, like, started doing it again because I don't wanna have to deal with trying to be like, "Hey, like, talk to each other somehow." You can't. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I definitely understand that too, because like I there are a couple of bigger streamers that I follow like really consistently, and one of them is Andrea, who I mentioned earlier.
Mhm. Right.
And she like even it was either like earlier today or in her stream like yesterday or the day before was talking about how like she's been struggling a lot lately because she started doing multi streams about like a month or so ago. She started doing more consistent ones, and then she was like, I've just been super struggling with them because the communities are so split, the communities can't interact with each other. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, that like it's a great idea if you don't care about like one of your communities basically almost being treated like lurkers in a way where like you
Yeah.
kind of like you can have both chats up, but like those chats can't interact with each other, and there's not currently a way to combine them into the same chat that doesn't go against TOS for either Twitch or YouTube, because that is
Right.
against their TOS actively. And it's
Yeah.
it's just like I definitely agree with you that there's like weird like isolation of one of the other if you try and do both, especially when you get to a certain
Yeah.
size.
Yeah, the one thing that I am looking forward to on YouTube is that they have just recently sent an email out saying like, "Hey, well, soon TM as it always is.
Mhm. Yeah.
They're actually going to allow us to start streaming both to the like normal channel as well as a vertical feed simultaneously with a shared chat. So actually,
Interesting.
like you'll appear in the shorts feed in
Mhm.
vertical, and any chats that occur there will actually also be going into the main stream's chat. So it's like finally
Okay.
some way to get like the potential discoverability because they put it forward as like a discoverability tool because essentially
Yeah.
you can have and obviously it'll have to be a slightly different feed because well this is not the correct dimensions for
Yeah.
a vertical stream, but even if you can get anything helps just to be like it can be in the feed, people can discover it, and then like the chat will be consistent. I was like, that I'm looking forward to because like that's a way to actually multi-stream in a way that doesn't ruin the community in that same way. And so I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
hoping that that will be effective, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But man, I do miss raiding a lot. Like I miss
Mm.
the raiding like culture
Yeah.
from Twitch. And it's frustrating especially because YouTube does technically have a way to redirect.
Mhm.
Um but one they are annoyingly restrictive about it. You actually have to be a YouTube partner. You have to have over 500 subscribers to start redirecting or even accepting redirect,
Oh.
which is stupid.
Okay.
But also the way that the setting works is you have to set it up to who you accept. So like I think by
Mm.
default, and so like for all of the people that don't know it's a thing, the default I think is just people you subscribe to can redirect to you. But like I've gone through, of
Oh.
course, and set it to anybody can redirect to me. And there are some people who have it, but it's like it's
Mhm.
such a pain to like have a good stream where you have like a decent number of folks still around and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to try to redirect to somebody." Like that'll be great. We've got some people. We can go say hi to somebody. And I have to like I have to search for so
Yeah.
long to find somebody viable that can accept the redirect. And I'm like, why do I even
Yeah.
try? I end up having to give up so often. It really
Mhm.
sucks because I'm like, I like that culture. I think it's great to like build a broader community, to meet people, to be like, oh, hey, this is, like you're playing the same game. I was just playing this. Here's my audience. Have a good time.
Mhm.
Like, I like that aspect. And it's a shame that YouTube just
Yeah.
hasn't fostered that culture.
Yeah. No, I definitely get that because like raids are such a big way of like growth and discoverability with Twitch. Like the number of times that I've like become friends with someone who like randomly raided into me because they were like, "Oh hey, I saw you were playing this game. I have no idea who you are, but here's my community. Take care of them." And I still talk with them like
Yeah.
3 4 years later. So like I
Yeah.
definitely understand like missing that aspect because I definitely would miss that
Yeah.
aspect too.
For sure. It's a shame.
Yeah.
Although there is, of course, all of the horror stories of like raiding into somebody and then being an absolute asshole. Like,
Yeah.
I think those
Yeah.
are more few and far between, but man, does it suck when it happens. Like,
Uh-huh.
man.
Yeah, I've unfortunately taken the stance that I try to not raid people that I don't know and haven't vetted beforehand. So
Right. Sure.
it tends to be more me sending viewers to either like my friends or like other just people who are in like either in my immediate community or it's like, oh, I know this person because like they've streamed with one of my friends type thing. I'm always so
Right.
hesitant now just raiding into someone random, even though like I have found some
Yeah.
amazing streamers doing that. I'm just so hesitant
Yep.
because you never know. You never know the type of person that you're going to send your community to.
Yeah. And even it like even trying to stick within VTubers, man, there are some shitty ass VTubers floating around.
Oh yeah.
Anonymity is a bitch that will make some
Yep.
people real terrible.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, it is.
Well, okay. So I had one other question, and this goes back to like kind of like your model and setup. And so you mentioned that you like your model is not really a Vroid anymore, but that was how you started it.
Right.
And when we were
Yep.
talking a bit before we went live, you said that you use Vnyan.
I
What
do.
what else is like included in your setup for this model? Because like you have a lot of really like a lot of really fluid movements and like really good like shoulder movement and finger movement that like right now my model is very jittery because it's using the video ninja and it always freaks out when I do that. And I also have your YouTube stream up and
Ah,
my computer is just not very powerful, so it struggles a
yeah,
lot.
sure.
So
Yeah.
like what do you use for all that?
So the way it's all set up is, as far as hardware goes, I am using an iPhone for face tracking,
Mhm.
um, which is the best way to do it currently,
Yeah.
for anybody. Um, if if anybody's curious why, there is it's because it uses an infrared camera, not a regular camera, which is why it's so different from normal like webcam based face tracking. If people
Mhm.
wondered why that is, that's why. Um, and so that says the face, which does a good job. The hands, I use a Ultra Leap um, Stereo IR 170, which is a another pair of infrared cameras um, that do the
Is that
hand
like a
tracking.
leap
They're
motion or is that
specifically designed.
different?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. So Leap Motion 1 and 2. Leap Motion 2 is like the current one. I'll get on a tangent about Leap Motion here in a second. But but so the Stereo IR 170 is actually a dev kit that existed between Leap Motion 1 and 2. So it's very
Okay.
close to Leap Motion 2 in performance, but it's actually a dev kit. And so it you'd get it and people would be trying out like new VR headsets and like attaching it to VR headsets and like doing dev stuff on it. And like that's its purpose, but it does just function like an Ultra Leap, or
Mhm.
rather a Leap Motion. Leap being the brand. So I have a lot of anxiety now about my stereo, my Ultra Leap guy, because freaking Ultra Leap got sold to another company in like the middle of last year.
Oh, okay.
Um, and you can't find any of the physical hardware anymore right now. Everywhere says it's sold out and they don't know when they're getting any more in, which is stressful because I'm
Oh.
like, my hand tracking is very important to the expressiveness of
Yeah.
this whole thing, actually.
Mhm.
Like the face rigging is not nearly as good as the hands, and I
Mhm.
do a lot of talking with my hands. Way more.
Mhm.
That's another person who showed up. Remember tangent time. Somebody showed up and was like, "Wow, did you just get that hand tracking? Because like you're really obsessed with it." And I was like, "No, man, this is just how I talk. I've had this for like a year and a half." And I was like, "Nah, it's just it." And then it was funny because later on, much later, I actually did a face stream where I built a PC, which is
Mhm.
a stream that I'd always wanted to do, and so I was really happy that I got a chance to do that. And
Nice.
while I was like talking about it, introducing that, one of my friends came in and was like, "Oh wow, you really do just talk like that with your hands." And I was like, "I know, I told you, chill out." Like I wasn't even hooked up to the VTuber model, and they're just like, "Oh, you do just do that," and I was like, "Yeah, I just do this.
Mhm.
Don't worry about it." But anyway, and so I'm real stressed about the fact that like I'm a little bit heartened by the fact that I just discovered that had a software update for the tracking in September, which is more
Mhm.
recent than I thought. So I'm like, maybe they still do exist. I don't know when they might start marketing rebranded Leap Motion stuff, but right now they're like
Mhm.
non-existent, and I'm like, I hope mine doesn't break because I'm going to be in a world of
Yeah.
hurt. Like I don't know what I'm going to do. Um, But yeah, so that's hardware wise how I get it all connected up. Then I use Vignon for the tracking and the operation. Oh,
Mhm.
and I just use VTube Studio on the phone to send into Vignon. The VTube Studio
Mhm.
takes tracking on the phone over to Vignon to do the actual running. And then as far as I don't know, the fluidity, it's mostly about the the settings within Vignon that are really useful, like, allows for a lot of customizability, how stuff is, um sort of carried through because there's some like, you can change how, like, what happens when you turn your face, does the shoulders you can get it so that the shoulders actually, like, go counter to the direction of your turning for a more, I don't know,
Mhm.
feminine, coquettish style, or, like, they move a little
Mhm.
bit with your head or, like, stuff like that. There's some nice settings in there, and then, there's a huge amount of stuff that you can do with the node graph, but a lot of
Mhm.
the stuff in the model is really just how I designed it to have a lot of secondary motion,
Mhm.
because it all stemmed from the fact that, like I mentioned, like, I'm not really much of a drawing artist, so, like, I can't make nice textures, which is a big
Mhm.
part of what led me to do this design in the first place, is because, like, I can't make any kind of shaded textures for, like, actual skin, like, so I was like, "What can I
Yeah.
do?" And it's, like, digital stuff, shapes, black with colors, and, like, the basic 3D models that I use, like, for the
Mhm.
objects that are then sort of duplicated, stretched, or squashed, or placed and, like, layered in a way that makes them complicated. So there's a lot of passive movement, which gives it a lot of that appearance of, like, fluidity
Mhm.
that I have kind of cheated my way to in a lot of ways so that it,
Yeah.
like, keeps visual interest. Uh, but that's pretty much the long and short of it. Like, those are the main pieces I use. I also integrate in with, like, mix it up so that chat can run commands to do changes directly to the model. So, like, I have a bunch of redeems
Mhm.
that can directly change the model. That's not unheard of. Lots of people do that sort of stuff, but that's how it all comes together.
Mhm.
Mhm, mhm.
Well, it looks
I
great.
think that about well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I have worked tremendously hard on it.
It shows, like, seriously.
And I do have some tutorial videos if folks are interested. Like, I have a tutorial video on how to add particle systems to
Mhm.
VTube Studio or Vroid Studio stuff, because that was like how I mainly got my start in, like, making particles and stuff, and as well as my most watched video, which is this random thing about using higher resolution textures on Vroid models because they limit you
Okay.
to 2048 and you can have higher resolution ones. And it's just,
Mhm.
like, super easy to change in Unity, and, like, somebody posted it into Reddit, and now, like, half my views are from Reddit on that video. It's a very strange experience. Like, years old, and people still show up. It's this bizarre, like, linear growth of viewership on that channel
Yeah.
or on that video, and I'm like, "People still showing up." I was like, "Alright, great. Thanks for coming."
Yeah. It's always from the places you least expect it.
It really is. And that's one of the things that I wish I not I could do more of, because I could do more of course, like tutorial stuff. I really like doing educational tutorial style, like, explanatory
Mhm.
streams or videos. The thing is I really don't like doing them on stuff that has been covered 100 times by 100 different people. So I have some
Fair.
niche tutorials. I was like, my main ones are the texture thing for V-Ray, the adding particles, and then how you are supposed to, like, troubleshoot dropped frames while you're streaming, because nobody ever talks about, like, if you're in the middle of the stream and your stream looks like shit, how you're supposed to know that, like, it's bad, or what about it is bad, or what is doing it. So I have a video that, like, explains the metrics and how you can then know what you need to do at any given point in time to, like, probably fix it. Because I thought that was very
Not
underexplained to lots of
not
people.
not me planning on, just stalking through some of those later. Because boy howdy do I have some issues with bitrate every now and then.
I so many streamers do, and, like, it really frustrated me because, like, fortunately, I have a very technical background, as I mentioned, software
Mhm.
quality engineer. I work with stuff like this. My degree is in computer engineering, blah, blah, blah. tech
Mhm.
related, tech theme, obviously. Um, it's really frustrating to see so many when you're like looking about like, oh, how do I set up a stream? And it's just like, here are the settings to throw into OBS. And I'm like, that does not teach anybody anything. If you just tell them like,
Uh-huh.
these are the settings you put into your like OBS stream setup. And it's like, why? What do those mean? Are there reasons to maybe change them? Like, and then what happens if you have put them in and you try to start streaming and well, turns out your CPU would never be able to run those settings and
Mhm.
you're skipping your frames all the time. Like, well, they don't tell you. And I was like, well, somebody's got to tell them, and
Yeah.
it's going to be me.
Good shit. No, I think
But yeah,
that
that,
especially the bitrate one, I'm probably gonna end up sharing with a couple of people, just being like, "Hey, I know you have issues with bitrate stuff, so let me just slide this
yeah,
video on for you."
go for it. And that one, I think I might have even managed to. I'm trying to remember how long it is. I'm really bad at being concise. I'm sorry. I'm like, is that one of my 1 hour or one of my 3 hour ones? I think it's an hour. I think I went back and I re-recorded it specifically because I had to make it not 3 hours because I was like, I can't keep making it 3 hours.
Yeah, 3 hours is long for a
I ex-
tutorial.
okay, so I didn't plan for it to be 3 hours. All right, I did it as a stream. It was like the first stream that I did
Okay,
on
that's different.
YouTube
Yeah.
actually, and I was like, I'll keep it. And then the thing was is like I'm going to make it so that I can like maybe I'll edit it and I'll cut it down and then it'll be more concise. See, at the time, I was not knowledgeable enough to think if I intend to edit this, maybe I shouldn't run music in the background because I
Mm.
definitely ran music in the background. And then I got it into my video editor and I was like, I can't cut any of this time out because my it's gonna sound like nonsense with the song. I was like, this is bad. I
Yeah.
can't do this. And so then I was like, oh no, it was only an hour. It was the it was the it was the particles that was 3 hours. It was only an hour, only an hour. And then I went back and I made a specific video that was even shorter. I'm It's great. Oh, yeah, I also explained how to set up, Twitch style channel points with Mix It Up because nobody ever explains how to actually do that if you want to.
Yeah, because Mix It Up has the built-in already support for like Twitch channel points. So I can
It
imagine
does.
that would be very, very helpful to know how to like set that up just for YouTube
Yeah.
instead.
Well, yeah, because it's like it's how do you put all the pieces together? Because you can go to the Mix It Up,
Yeah.
like, documentation, and it's like, "Oh, this is how you activate Twitch points or your channel points and the this and that," and then it's like, nobody ever explains, like, "Okay, you want to have channel points. Now let's talk about thinking about your channel point economy. How many points do you
Mhm.
want them to generate every hour? How many times do you want them to be able to do these annoying things to you? So
Mhm.
assign their points accordingly. So you
Mhm.
like set this up with your numbers, then let's talk about, also in Twitch, they have the very handy UI for you automatically. In YouTube, they won't know you have channel points. So here's how you would set
Mhm.
up a timer so that your bot mentions that you have channel points occasionally, and then also set up a command so that you can see what the list of commands are because you don't have a UI anymore. So it's like it's those things
Yeah.
that nobody would tell someone because it's like the documentation is just like, oh yeah, toggle this button and then you're good to
Mhm.
go on channel points. And it's like, okay, yeah, you are technically, but like you're not doing anything. So
Yeah.
that's what I mean by like it's those esoteric topics that I really like to teach and talk about because it's like these little things that nobody puts the pieces together and you gotta figure it
Yeah.
out. And I'm like, I will help. And
No,
it's
and Lord
I
knows
don't
we
have
need
that
that.
I don't know what other topics to fill with that. I want to make more tutorials, but I'm like, I don't know what else to talk about. Like,
Mhm.
they just come to me occasionally and I'm like, I'm on it.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. All right. I think I've covered my topics. Anything else you wanted to chat about?
No, I think I've covered everything that I had written down, and we've gone into so much.
We definitely have. I think we could wrap it up for today.
Yeah, I think this is a good
Thank you
good
so
place to
much.
end it out. No, thank you. Thank you
So much for
for
coming.
reaching out
Oh,
and for inviting me on. Hmm.
yeah. There's one other thing that I did want to touch on actually. So,
Yeah.
um, if you're fine talking, because you mentioned in the lead up to this that you'd had a pretty bad interview experience.
Mm.
Um, and I don't know if you like I have had a less severe but also annoying interview experience that has sort of like helped reinforce why I handle like setting these up the way that I do. But
Mhm.
I don't know if you wanted to like if you'd be willing to like comment about like how like what why it was bad, what not to do with interviews, like you know things like that. If you're comfortable sharing,
Oh
tell
yeah,
the story if you will.
I really like I don't remember much about the specifics anymore because this would have had to be like summer of like 22 or something cuz like I was
Oh wow,
still a very
been a while.
very fresh still like trying to just reach out to a whole like varying groups of people like trying to make friends, trying to make connections and whatnot and like
Yep, sure.
this one person was they what they had planned was it was going to be a series of interviews with a number of different content creators and VTubers especially who were on the queer spectrum somewhere. And
Hmm.
because I am pansexual and non-binary, they like wanted to have me on, and it was it started off being kind of rough because we struggled with our scheduling. I
Uh
don't
huh.
remember the specifics of it, but I remember there being something where like the initial stream, like the initial date didn't end up working for me and I needed to reschedule, had plenty of time to reschedule, and there just kept being continual scheduling issues from that point on, mainly on their
Sure.
end. And
Ah.
then once we actually finally did like get a time for us to meet up and and do it, like most of the like questions and whatnot, like it was supposed to be more focused on like what it means to me to be like queer in the way that I'm queer and how that
Uh
affects
huh.
like my life, my content creation, stuff like that. And I just remembered being just vaguely uncomfortable almost the entire time because
Sure.
the questions weren't really focused on that. The questions were just kind of very average basic like, "Oh, why do you stream, like what is this, like kind of like a the basic level of questions like from this, but then also
Uh huh.
paired with the fact that a lot of the interview and a lot of my responses to questions ended up sparking conversations from chat that I got cut out of because the streamer would
Yeah.
then just sit and have these back and forths with chat and I was just sitting there like, is there gonna be time for me to talk about that or no? Because then it would just get
Yeah.
and like she would get on tangents and then like we would get to the end and it was like maybe 3 questions had been asked over the span of like 2
Yikes.
hours and I was like, I'm
Ay.
very just like it wasn't like bad. I just it made me uncomfortable and it wasn't what I was expecting coming out of that. And I was just kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think I'm going to do any sort of one-on-one stuff with this person again because I just we very clearly don't click in the way that like we would work
Yep.
well together.
Yeah. That is very frustrating. It's I I have well, I haven't actually really tried to do very many interviews on the interviewee side. I had one person
Mhm.
invite me, and so this was where I got really frustrated because I had one person invite me. I was like, sure, that sounds cool, and then
Mhm.
they just sent me a link to their Discord server, no further
Mhm.
instruction, and I was like,
Okay.
I went over there and it's like, this is a channel that does a lot of interviews. Like their main thing is interviewing with other VTubers, which is fine.
Mhm.
But I did not care for the fact that like their their Discord server is like very active. Hundreds of people
Mhm.
in there, lots of channels, including things like talking about thumbnails, talking about like available times, talking about like like all this stuff. And I'm like, you should do more guiding. Like you should have organized this more. I was like, I got into the Discord server and I was like, I don't really want this to be on me. Like I'm not
Yeah.
here to like guide myself through your interview process to figure out like it it seemed like one of those things where you you show up and you're suddenly like, the content here. Like, I don't know. And
Mhm.
I don't want to say that so negatively, but that's one of the reasons like when I try to set this up, like I set it up. Like I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
let's keep going. What time works? When would you like to do
Mhm.
this? Let's have the time. Like I find that very important and I had always found that to be relatively important, but like after that experience I was like, "Oh, that's what it feels like to be just like left hanging." And like
Mhm.
no, 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 no. We're not going to do that. We're going to like actually make sure that anybody that's invited on, like, knows when and where to be to do the thing. Because
Yeah.
that was very frustrating.
Well, I can say that you've done an amazing job with this so far. I have
Oh,
felt
well,
very
thank
comfortable through
you.
this, and I've very much enjoyed my time here.
And what's kind of funny is that what actually brought that question back to mind was I remembered one of the other tutorial videos I did, which was
Mhm.
I have done a tutorial, a very short one. It's on the shorts because I was having a whole crash out from some other random Yahoo having messaged me on, I don't know, Blue Sky or whatever, and just being really,
Uh-huh.
really bad at it. And so
Mhm.
I went onto Blue Sky and I was yelling into the void about like, okay, people, you have got to learn how to communicate with each other. Like, I was like,
Mhm.
I had a video essentially like, if you are trying to contact someone on the internet, there is a way to do it correctly. And
Uh-huh.
just DMing, hey, ain't it? It's like,
That is the
so
number one way to get ignored by me is just send me a message going, "Hey," and I don't know you, like,
I
I block on
I
sight.
know. And I was like, well, and so I was immediately like, I am going to go. And so I made this. It was actually originally a series of two shorts, but then they extended shorts so that they could be longer than 60 seconds. Cause I was like,
Mhm.
I ain't having this shit. And it's
Mhm.
just like, okay, you want to reach out to somebody? Here's how you do it. There's a correct way to do it. Don't break it up into 8 text messages.
Bad fish.
Just craft one. It honestly, it's like the basics of writing a business email. I kind of realized coming back to it, but like
Mhm.
I had this sort of epiphany that like I am of the old guard and like was actually taught internet etiquette in school because like internet was a new hot important thing. And so I realized like all these young dumbasses are not being taught how to write an email, are they? They don't even they're just assumed that they know how to exist on the internet because they like grew up with it or whatever. And I was like, and they don't.
Yep.
They actually don't. Like somebody has got
Yep.
to tell them how to do this.
Yeah.
And that is exactly the first message that I sent to you was crafted following that exact guidelines. And it has worked every time I have sent it. Just to freaking toot my own horn. Works every time so far. So,
Shocker, when you treat someone that you're trying to communicate with like an actual, like, adult human being worthy of respect
uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
eloquation, that they respond positively. Wild. Wild.
Yeah. I was like, there's two goals. There's two goals when you're writing a message. One, don't look like a bot. And two,
Mhm.
don't be weird. Those are the
Yep.
two rules. Like those, well, the two
Yep.
goals. Like those, that's what you want.
Yep.
Cause God, it is getting worse as trying to figure out who's a bot and who's not. People say
Ah,
something and then
yep.
immediately go into like a scam, and you're like, God damn it! Why did I even? Why get out of here?
Yeah.
Like, it's so many, so
Yeah.
common. And then there are also the people who are weird, and it's like, don't be weird in the DMs, man.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah,
sorry. I
people growing up with the internet don't have to learn it as a tool to use, and therefore don't realize that there are skills that they're missing with that. Because boy howdy, like I don't know how old you are, but I'm 32, so I'm at like that perfect age where I grew up as like computer games were still mainly my
uh-huh.
focus, and then getting older and it's like, oh man, there's like online like websites where I can go and play games and whatnot. And like I didn't even start really communicating with people online until I was in high school, really. Aside from occasionally being in chat rooms on IMVU that I really should not have
Uh-huh.
been in middle school. But like those weren't ways that I was trying to, actually communicate with other people, because that was all like the instant message type, like chat room type stuff where it functions differently. But even
Yeah.
that, like now it's like that was 20 years ago. Like that we can't that
Uh-huh.
can't be the only type of communication that's based on that. But you have kids who have been born since then, and the internet has
Uh-huh.
always existed. And yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm 39, so
Okay.
I existed in the time where a trailer would show up once a week in my elementary school with a bunch of computers in it, and you would take a typing class
Yep.
to try to learn to type.
Yep.
Like way back
Oh
in the
goodness.
days.
Yep. We had
And
a
then
we had
so
computer science class.
yeah, see, they didn't even actually start talking calling it science yet for me. It was just computer class.
Computer
Like
class.
back then they hadn't decided it was a science yet. So but yeah, and it was like coming to the realization that like that I don't think they give them those classes anymore. And also the
Mm-mm.
random tech tangent, because I do love me some tech, is like also the over sort of like easification of like iOS and operating systems on devices that people use have made young folks sorely incapable of understanding how the structure of stuff actually works in a computer. Like if you
Yeah.
take that like if you ask them to find a file somewhere, they're like, "What are you talking about?" And it's like, "I oh, we are in
Yeah.
trouble."
Yeah.
We are in trouble.
What do you
Oh
mean I
boy.
can't just ask Siri where my picture of blank is? What do you mean?
I
What do you
know.
mean?
the the way iOS did a file structure was like a disaster. It does strange, bizarre emulation bullshit that they're just like, we don't really have a file structure. It's just around, and you're like, that's a stupid system. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, anyway, but yeah, I don't know if any of that rambling has inspired further questions because I kind of diverted us immediately before wrapping up. But
No, not
um,
really. It all
okay,
just
cool.
ties back. Mhm, mhm.
All right. Thank you so much for hanging out. This has been so much fun. I appreciate it
Yeah, I've
greatly.
had a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, me too. Thank you, chat of both chats, for being here. Um,
Mhm.
I've been vaguely keeping track. I'm sorry to, I guess, specifically my chat, in that I'm, unlike your prior interviewer, I'm actually dog shit at keeping up with my own chat, because if I have somebody on stream, I give them the attention that they deserve,
Mhm.
and my chat
Mhm.
gets neglected. Sorry, gang, but you're all right.
I mean, yeah,
Next time we'll
it's
be back to normal. You'll be fine.
yeah, that's the exact same thing here. Like I've brought up like a couple of things that I've seen in chat as they've happened, or I've
Hmm.
like made note of them to like bring up later. But like, yeah, no, I've been reading everything that's came through chat. I have not responded to almost
Thank.
anything. But like
It's
they they kind of know, like I when
yeah.
there's something like special that I'm doing on stream and I can't, sit and have direct reactions and responses to every single chat message that comes through. Like that's all another thing of why I love the community that I have that I've built over the years
Yeah.
is like they put up with my shit and they also give me lenience when there's like situations where I don't want to put like my focus on them because my focus is on something else.
Yeah, it's like it's the right sort of people end up with you for the long haul because it's like,
Mhm.
do you really want like if you really want a longtime community member who's just gonna get butthurt about like, hey, you aren't talking to me, you're talking to the person that you're actually talking to. Like that, come on
Mhm.
now. Like we don't
Yeah.
no. Like
Yeah.
you can you'll stop that. Don't be that way. And nobody has been that way. But it's just like
Mhm.
those people tend to like self-select themselves out of the community. And at least that's been my experience.
Yeah.
Like I don't actively try to drive people away, but anybody that's shown up and like tried to be weird in chat, they eventually aren't having enough fun. So they just leave. And I'm like,
Mhm.
you know what? See you later.
Exactly. Chat kind of like curates itself at a certain point. Like I'm the exact same way. I never go out of my way. I never try to drive anyone away because like worst case scenario, I'll just fucking ban and block on site if necessary. But like they if they're not enjoying it, if they're not getting the attention they want, then this isn't the stream for them. Like regardless of what I'm doing, regardless if this is like a one-off and like streams are never like this and I never ignore chat like this, it's still going to happen every now and then. And even in my
Hmm.
normal streams, I'll miss messages from people because occasionally people will just send in a whole bunch of messages because they're freaking out and they're excited and I'll miss like a couple and I feel bad, but
Hmm.
like they know that I'm gonna miss them every now and then. They know that I'm a blind bitch and my chat is like really zoomed in on my side, so I have to be like really fast about reading stuff if people are really excited and chat's really booming. Um, so like yeah, I never worry about them. I mean, I worry about them,
Yeah.
but
It goes
not about
back to
that.
the idea that like chat ends up reflecting the streamer. 'Cause, like
Mhm, mhm.
It it's just kind of a natural conclusion is that, like, people that vibe will stay and people that don't, why would they keep coming back? And they'll just,
Exactly.
see themselves out. Alright. That being said, and we can say our farewells. So, thank you so much to everyone who's been here. Um, do you I guess, I don't know, do you usually, announce anything or plan ahead anything at the end of your streams, or I usually just comment about what's upcoming next, um, for me, but
Yeah.
what do you have coming up?
Um, I don't really have anything specific coming up like soon. I know the next like big thing that I have is going to be December 14th, 15th, and 16th. I have a big charity event that I am working with the charity Stack Up. So I'm gonna have more information on that
That reminds
soon-ish.
me of a
But
question I was gonna ask. Damn it.
oh yeah, go for it.
I saw that you're doing a charity for bats, and I was wondering
Yeah.
why the bats?
So that charity event was actually organized by my friend Hydra, and Hydra's
Okay,
VTuber personality is a bat. So their username is Hydra the Bat.
fitting.
And their streams always include information on how to donate to different like charities and like sanctuaries and resource centers and whatnot, as well as links to like videos because a lot of these sanctuaries have like 24/7 live feeds of their bat houses and stuff.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, Hydra got that all set up and reached out to me and a bunch of other of our friends. So we got together for 2 days and we raised I think we raised almost about $200 between the groups of us. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. We played a lot of like fun chaos group games for the 2 days.
Awesome. That's fun.
Yeah. But yeah, I got
Do
another
you
one coming up
so
soon,
you
and I'll figure that out eventually.
Yeah, so do you do a lot of charity streams? I mean, I
um,
like working with
I
2 in, relatively short order. That moves
yeah,
relatively frequent.
I've done a couple. We had a really good, really successful one in October of last year because
Mhm.
last year hurricane season was really hard for Florida and we
Oh,
got hit
sure.
with I believe like two hurricanes
Yeah.
within 2 weeks, but then there was another one about a month or prior that had fucked up a lot of the same areas that got hit by the two in
Yeah.
quick succession.
I
I think
remember that. It was rough.
I think we raised over $1,000 for that. That was like a week long raid train event. So whenever like one person was done streaming, they raided into the next person on our schedule. Um, and that was going for about a week, and we raised so much money and were able to get so much help locally. um Earlier this year, back in, I think it was January, we did a fundraiser for, oh, what was it called, because this one was organized by, I believe this one was one of the ones that Clockwork was organizing. Let's see, Rainbow Tide. Yes, because we did organizing for the National Organization for Rare Disorders. And
Mm.
it was February. That's right, because it was rare National Rare Disease and Disorder Day is in February, so we did fundraising for that. Um, I intended to do like more consistent fundraising throughout this year, and this year was just really, really rough for a number of reasons due to the state of the world. Um,
Yes.
but but
It's not a good year.
it is not a good year at all. But no, I'm excited to get to work with Stack Up for this event in December, and I'm excited to work with them throughout next year and continue setting up events and working with them and possibly looking at connecting with like other causes and whatnot. Because I don't have a job right now, and I feel
Mhm.
like my reach, my community can be well spent, like trying to help others as much as possible.
That's awesome. Love to hear
Yeah.
that. Okay. Um, I suppose relevant. Are
Mm.
you gonna actually wrap up stream now, or are you intending to keep going to do something else?
I'm gonna wrap up stream now so that I can get some
Okay.
food and just kind of vibe and whatnot.
No worries. Just
Yeah.
figuring out what the exit strategy is, so
Yeah.
we'll shut down stream and then we can sign off. All right. Well, for my part, I'm not doing anything as useful as a fundraiser. I'll just be back on Tuesday for what my community is aware of is that I've been playing the Surge 2 lately, a game that no one else has heard of. So good luck with that. But that's what I'll be back. No stream on Thursday for me because, Thanksgiving. But
Mhm, mhm.
that's what's coming up for me. Normal ass shit. But thanks so
Yeah.
much for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
And thanks all of you chat. Have a good night. Enjoy what the hell day is it? It's Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your
Saturday.
weekend. And hopefully I will see you all next time. All right. Bye.
Bye. All right, chat. Who are we gonna send you all off to? Think actually. Shork is live. Shork needs some love. We're gonna send y'all out to Shork. So let's get that raid started. You guys know the deal. Be respectful, be kind, be loving. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Make sure you guys get water, food, rest, all that good stuff. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I don't know if I'll be streaming tomorrow. We'll see how I'm feeling. But